Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to day 5 of the British Swimming Championships 2017. What a day of swimming we have for you. If last night is anything to go by, it's going to be full of surprises. One of the surprises we had last night, Rosie Rudden, hometown girl, in front of her home crowd here at Sheffield, wins the 200-meter backstroke. She had 2 seconds off her personal best, which is absolutely massive for her. I mean, it was one of those moments where everyone in the whole place was behind her. Everyone at home cheering, tweeting, just going absolutely crazy. And that's what swimming is about. It's not just about, you know, crowning the new British champions. It's about having inspirational moments as well. She came in unexpectedly from the outset. Absolutely breathtaking stuff. Now today is going to be a bit of a surprising one as well. Maybe we've got Duncan Scott in. He took the 100-meter freestyle. He took that gold, and he steps up to the 200-meter IM. So it's obviously a very different race. The 100-meter is a sprint, and now he's going in for a 200-meter IM. It's a distance race. So he really is stretching those multi-skilled muscles, and it's going to be fantastic to see how he does this throughout the day. We still only have 4 qualifiers who have made that qualification time and are on that plane, definitely on their way to Budapest in the summer. So let's take a look at who's done it so far. We have Adam Peaty, we have Duncan Scott, we have Jocelyn Ulyett, and Max Litchfield. So a lot of these athletes out here today are going to be vying for that time, really trying to make that qualification time. It is a tough time, so if they do, they are one of the best in the world, and we'll have to wait and see how they do. So what's going to happen today, wherever you're watching from, if you're watching on YouTube or online on the British Swimming website, you don't want to miss a race. So let's take a look at how the races are going to pan out today. So you have the women's 400-meter freestyle. In that race, keep an eye out for Jazz Carlin. She obviously won the silver medal in Rio for this event. The men's 200 IM is Duncan Scott, like I mentioned earlier, and Daniel Wallace. He was 8th place in this event in Rio. Women's 200-meter IM, Siobhan Marie O'Connor. She won silver in this event in Rio. Can she do it again here? Can she get that gold? We'll have to wait and see. The men's 50-meter freestyle is obviously the blue ribbon event. In that one, Benjamin Proud, he was 4th in Rio. And finally is the women's 50-meter backstroke. Georgia Davis was, of course, a Rio Olympian. So how's it going to go? We'll have to wait and see. But the action is going to continue throughout the day, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be fast. It's going to be furious. I'm going to be down here in the studio doing my best to keep you up with the action and, of course, catching those poolside interviews. But along with me is Kerry-Anne Payne and Alan Marge. They're up in the commentator's box. You're going to be hearing their voice a lot throughout today. They're going to give you all the knowledge they need. Don't forget to keep those tweets coming in as well. Hashtag BSC17. Any questions, anything you want to know, just send them in and we'll do our best to keep track of them. Anyway, we're going to head up now to the commentator's box. I shall see you in a bit. Enjoy the show.
Thank you very much to Mr. John Mason. He's got 2 things right. We are all on a bit of a high. We are on day number 5, so I challenge all of you out there, and me and Kerry-Anne are going to do it, to do a high 5. Here we go. Look at that. High fives all around the place for the British Swimming Championships 2017. Our officials are out. Our swimmers of the first race are out. And we will be starting with the women's 400 metres of freestyle heats. We've got a few of those as well. There's 7 altogether. And lots of people who've been challenging or competing at high levels in some of the junior, Target Tokyo. And of course, we've got senior medalists from events around the first 4 days as well. Excited for day 5?
Very excited for day 5. We've had quite a few races now, quite a few people doing multiple events. So this is the 400 freestyle. You've got people coming down from the 800 freestyle to do a bit more of a sprint event. And we have people like Ellie Faulkner, who's decided she wants to be a bit of a sprinter now, winning the 200 freestyle, medaling as well in the 100 freestyle. And she's now stepping up to the 400 meters. So it's going to be a really interesting start to the session this morning.
And don't disappear right at the end of the session, because actually there's one more additional race that we've got, an invitational, if you will. The men today are going to swim the 800 metres. Of course, that's an event that's not done at the Olympic Games, but it is done at various other events around the world. So it's an invitational, just to showcase what you can do. And we've got a revised start list. He literally has just come upstairs. So we'll take a look at that a little bit later on. But some good names are actually wanting to go into that invitational. And tomorrow there'll be the opposite way around for the ladies. The ladies that would have done the 800 are being invited. Do you want to do the 1500? Kerry-Anne is already trying to sign up for it. And no, you haven't. They realise you take your registration away. I'm not doing it. It's the sort of thing you would have gone for that, though, wouldn't you? You'd have done the 800, and if there was an invitational for 15, you'd have gone, yeah, let me do it.
Yeah, I would have. I used to do 1500s every now and then, and actually, it's only ever really at the World Trials that you get the opportunity, because at the World Championships, men do 800s and women do 1500s as well. So I actually broke my only British record in the 1500.
Our first race of the morning, the women's 400 metres freestyle heats. Lane 3 will be Megan Sheard, Stockport Metro. Tori Sopp of Wirral Metro in 4, and Molly Francis, Mount Kelly, goes in lane number 5.
So Molly Francis in lane number 5 from Mount Kelly. She has she did a PB this year in the 400, so we know that she's in form. She's going to look to try and do another PB. So 4:29.04 was her PB. We've got Tori Sopp from Wirral Metro. She's entered in on a 4:28.95, and then in lane 3, Megan Sheard from Stockport Metro in a 4:29.05. So 400 freestyle, 8 lengths of the pool, and I did count that. I know I made a mistake the other day when I said that a 1500 was 32 lengths. Turns out my maths isn't very strong, but anyway, 8 lengths of this 50-meter swimming pool, and it's a long way. You know, the 400 freestyle is about learning how to sprint to kind of start your race as fast as you can, and how fast you can or how long you can maintain that pace for. It's fast becoming very much a sprint event. The 200s now are very much considered sprint events, and then the 400s are starting to be considered sprint events. The 800s are starting to be considered sprint events, and to be honest, even the 10Ks are now starting to be considered as sprint events. I know, Alan, you look at me very funnily, but actually it's true. The races are getting faster. People are starting to go a little earlier. You know, it used to be you did a good first 100, then you settled in for the second 100, the third 100, you were just keeping that same pace, and the last 100 you sprinted. And now, you know, we've got people going world records of, wait for this, I know we've said this quite a few times, and it's the same girl, we're going to say wait for this again. The world record for this event is a 3:56.46. She's gone under. That's Katie Ledecky in Rio, went under 4 minutes. I know we had our British record, in fact, is Jo Jackson she went 4 minutes 00.6, and that was from Rome 2009. I mean, just such fast swim. So that's going, you know, under or just on for Jo's British record, just on a minute per 100.
2 observations from everything you've just said there. Firstly, since retiring, apparently the 10K is now a sprint. You can also see Kerry-Anne Payne as the warm-up act for most comedians around the country with those sort of gags. You are right. I mean, that is frightening from Katie Ledecky. We all watched that out there in Rio, and that 3:56.46. The European record still stands from 2009. No European swimmer can get past that 3:59.15. Jo is on the end here now, a retired athlete, now a mother. You know, clearly no intention of getting back in the pool and going for it. But she can be proud that she was so close to get to that 4 minutes. But a bit like we had in the 100 metres for the men, you know, there's a target, and we're desperate for people to dip under that target. This is another one of these events. This 400 freestyle, we are desperate for somebody to get close to that 4 minute marker and drop under, because then we go again. You know, the next phase moves from there.
It absolutely does. It pushes people, and having those kind of barriers out there, if you like, this record that's been there for so long, it just starts that process, and it starts to get down. We had Rebecca Adlinton when she broke her world record in 2008 for the 800 freestyle. It was a really old world record, and she broke it. And now we've got Jazz Carling in the 800 freestyle from the Olympics. You know, her time is so close to that, and we never really thought we would get, you know, one girl close to that time. And now we've got two British girls doing that. We've got youngsters like Holly Hibbert. You know, she's working her way up that field as well. Camilla Hattersley. You know, there's so many people out there, and we just keep pushing that. So we're hoping that in this 400 event that we can get, you know, really close to that.
Well, these ladies in the early heats, and Kerry-Anne will agree with this, and all the coaches will agree with this, and you at home should already know this. This is just all about keep improving, and opportunities to swim at the British Championships. For some of these ladies, even being here is a huge achievement over the last 12 months. Tori Sopp is taking on that challenge, 3:52.68 at the last turn. A personal best for Tori Sopp of 4:25.27, the ASA Northwest Region Winter Championships. She actually did that back in 2014, so a bit of a point to prove here for 2:26.82. It's outside. Second then, Molly Francis, 4:32.3. That's outside her personal best as well. And then she had 4:31.26. Some of these ladies will be wanting to break personal best. Some of them a little bit later on. Of course, the 400s and the 200 IMs maybe, and beyond that. It's not necessarily a personal best in the morning, but certainly from the youngsters we'd look to find that. The more experienced ones will be planning a route rather than a race. It'll be a route through the first heat into the final. We would expect some of the youngsters in the first couple of heats here to desperately trying to showcase their talents.
They want to, and that's always the gamble that you have to play as a senior in these events. You know, you don't want to swim quite as fast as you know that you can, because you want to conserve energy if you've got multiple events happening throughout the week. But at the same point, you've got these youngsters who are up and coming, and it just takes, 3 or 4 heats previous for someone to do a really good time to lift the mood, to lift the spirits, and everyone else to start swimming fast. So there's a real, it's a balancing act between how fast you can push it, but still being able to recover as well as you can, so that you can do a quicker time, a faster time in the evening. And we quite often see that actually with the juniors, that they'll quite often have a really good heat in the morning, and they'll smash their PB, but they come into this with no expectations really, and they come into it, do a massive PB, they're on an absolute high, and then make it into a final, for instance. And sometimes that expectation, it's in the evening, it's a little longer, you're not really sure, it's the first time you've done some things, and sometimes the juniors swim maybe times that aren't quite as fast. But saying that, Freya Anderson, complete junior from last night, and she is now 16 years old, just 16, and she's British champion for the 100 freestyle.
Can't imagine the emotions going through some of the young swimmers here this week. Cora's I'm not going to lie, caught a few of us by surprise. You see the bigger names, and certainly on the back of Rio, but there's different ways of looking at this. You can talk about some of the more senior ones maybe having longer off and not quite being at the races, excuse the pun, here already. But also you can then talk about that new cycle. Is it just that some people weren't quite ready for Rio, and oh man, are they ready now? So there's a couple of ways you can look at that. I'm going to look at both of those as a positive. That just means that the younger ones are fierce and fighting for it, and the more experienced ones just need that little bit longer to get back into their stride. To me, that's a double whammy. Eleanor Rickson goes in 2 for Guildford. 3 is Anna Smale of Ellesmere College Titans. Fleur Lewis of Barnet Cupville in 4. Her teammate Megan Davies goes in 5. Alicia Hawkins, Stockport Metro in 6. And Lola Davison of Newcastle goes in lane 8. No lane 1 or lane 7 in this second heat. Now, we talk about new swimmers. We're doing a few new things on the stream as well. Hashtag BSC17. If you want to get in touch with us, we've had loads of questions for some of our retired swimmers, our veteran swimmers, our more experienced...
Veteran?
You do look like a veteran. It's day 5, fair enough. You've had some early starts, even though we gave you a day off. Some of our swimmers up here, we've had Liam Tancock, we've had yourself, Carrie-Anne, we've had James Goddard, we've had Joanne Jackson. We may get some different ones throughout the last couple of days. Ross Davenport was here as well, all talking about your preferred events, I suppose, respectively as well. Lots of questions that have been coming in, from backstroke wedges to training exercises to what sort of time should I do, what weight session should I do, if you missed the answer to some of those and you want to send questions in, hashtag BSC17, hashtag stream. Amy said, I'm excited for Thomas Flower from Richmond Dale racing in the 50 freestyle this morning. Hashtag BSC17, hashtag live stream as well, so we know that you're talking to us. Keep those tweets coming in. Daniel O'Shea relaxing and watching the heats before racing tonight for Wellingborough. You rest up, Daniel. We will see people all the way through the day sending their tweets in. Keep them coming, hashtag BSC17. Let's take a look here as they come to another turn.
So we're coming in here, lane 6 from Alicia Hawkins, taking the lead, closely followed, only 1 second behind by Anna Smale. Looking at this, we have Fleur Lewis, who is in lane 4 from Barnet, and she was seeded she was placed 20th overall in the 800 freestyle. So interesting that the 800 freestyles didn't have heats and finals. There was just heats, and then there was the fastest heat at night. This might be an opportunity for some of the youngsters who haven't had a chance, on the longer distance events to have a final yet, because tonight for the 400 there will be a junior final, a Target Tokyo final, and that open senior final. So there'll be a really good opportunity. Like I said, Fleur Lewis, she was 20th in that overall in that 800 freestyle. She looks like she's struggling a little bit here, but it is the swimmer from Stockport Metro, Alicia Hawkins, who is powering down this last stretch of this 50 freestyle. She is being challenged by lane 3, Anna Smale from Ellesmere College, and it's coming into the very last stroke, and it is lane 6, Alicia Hawkins from Stockport Metro in a 4:23.90.
Nikki Merrill says shout out to Phoebe and Francesca Salmon, young aspiring swimmers watching on.
And that is a nice personal best there from Alicia Hawkins. She was 4:28.12 and she went 4:23.90. Those results should be on your screen.
And she did that
any second.
Did that at the Wickham long course meet earlier on this year. She likes an 800 free race as well. So, a lady after your own heart already. And that's one of those races where you just look at it, and well, the next one as well, you look at it, feel a little bit older. A couple of ladies there born in 03, 02 and 01, nobody older than the millennium year.
Wow.
I'd forgotten loads of stuff by the time of the millennium. Probably more so than I've learned since. Away we go in heat number 3 then. Eva Vickery, easy in lane 1 for City of Coventry. Sophie Negrini of Ellesmere in 2. Georgina Dennis, Mount Kelly in 3. Esther Halpern, Devencio in 4. And then it's Chloe Platter of Mount Kelly in 5. Iona McLeod, Hyundai City Aquatics 6. Alicia Dingle, Royal Wolverhampton School in 7. And Chloe Lentz of Modernian in lane 8. You got a visit from a coach from Mount Kelly yesterday to educate you more on that club. If any other coaches out there want to tell us a little bit more about, we've got a story about Pioneer 79 to tell you a little bit later on as well.
Yeah, so I was looking at the program, and we've seen so many times, I don't know how many times you've said Mount Kelly just recently, and I was like, right, I need to find out more about Mount Kelly. And that's exactly what I did. I went and found them. First of all, I went down to poolside to figure out where they were sitting, couldn't find them. They were up in the stands. So I decided I was going to go over, and I got talking to their head coach. And he was telling me that Mount Kelly actually was Kelly College, which they then merged with another school just around them, and they now have called the school Mount Kelly instead of Kelly College. So there is quite a big pedigree there. We had Sharon Davies, who won the Olympic medal in the 400 medley. She was from Kelly College, and so there's a good pedigree of Olympians that have come through that school. We're now at the 150 stage of this 400, turning in a 1:35, and that is Eva Vickery in lane 1, having a good swim. We've seen this time and time again, outside swimmers. Doesn't matter what lane you're in, doesn't matter if you're lane 4 or lane 1, you can win a race as long as you stick to your race plan. Eva Vickery from City of Coventry coming into this 200 meter. Things might have changed slightly, and they have. The Chloe Platter, she takes the lead, followed by Iona McLeod. She's second, and very closely followed by Eva.
So the fourth after that was Dennis, then Alicia Dingle, Chloe Lentz, Halford and Negrini. Just in behind in this third heat. Sam Sansom says Thomas swimming, Wickham swim, and Millie in Sheffield. Keep them coming. Those tweets, hashtag BSC17. Want to chat to us? Want to ask us a question, maybe about the 400? It's a good time with Kerry Ann sat next to me. This would be a massive sprint race for Kerry Ann.
Yep. Only 8 lengths. Wow. So hardly worth getting wet for. Jumping in the pool, doing a warm-up for that. There's the Titan swimmers from Ellesmere with head coach Alan Bircher.
400 metres to Kerry Ann's like a bath.
Yeah. A cold one, though.
A cold one.
So we've only got 100 metres to go, and it is lane 5. Chloe Platter taking the lead. Very close race between these two girls from lane 5 and lane 6, Iona McLeod. and Chloe Platter from Mount Kelly.
Jane Johnsfield is watching the stream whilst ironing with Saturday Kitchen on in the background. I'm sure she's enjoying it. Used to be hosted by James Martin, who suffers two elements of mine. He's got thinning hair and likes his food. But anyway, I'm sure the current presenter, Matt Tebbett, is doing them fine. But enjoy your day, Jane Johnsfield. That's multitasking.
Indeed.
That tweet definitely came from a woman.
We're coming down to the last 25 now. Chloe Platter has done a PB just very recently as well, just this year. So that's a 4:26.38. So she'll be looking to try and get under that. And then we have Iona McLeod. She is doing a great job. There's a great fight, and it looks to me like Iona might just take the final stretch of this, and she does.
Oh, the heats matter. You know that? The heats matter to these ladies and these young men. Certainly in the first few. 4:25.71. That allows McLeod to say to everybody else, I'm just that bit better than this group that you've given me. Chloe Platter settles for second. And her teammate gives Mount Kelly second and third on a plate. McLeod, Platter and Dennis, 1, 2, 3.
So Iona's PB is actually a 4:23.88. So she is just a bit over her PB, but entered in on a 4:27. So much quicker than her entry time, which I'm sure that she'll be happy with.
Into heat 4, there you see the final result for heat 3 on your screen, and the top of your screen now you'll see the ladies climbing onto the blocks as we show you who it is that's getting in. Jessica Podger of City of Bristol, a third place in the junior 200-metre event. Caitlin McKay, Wickham District in 2. Sophie Smith, St Thomas in 3. Roisin Ramsey of Warrender goes in 4. Sian Martin of Newcastle in 5. Hannah Sloan of Cardiff in 6. Amelia Sansom, that was who Sam Sansom was looking out for a minute ago. And Michaela Glenister of City of Leicester goes in lane 8.
So we're in heat 4 now. We should start to see the times improving a little bit. The next heat, the times do improve drastically down to like 4:19. So at the moment, most of the girls entered on this heat are entered in on a 4:23. So we'll be looking to see how they get on. We're having a storming swim so far from lane 1. Jessica Podger, City of Bristol, she's going to take the lead in a 1:01.54, which is a very fast time for the early heats of the 400 freestyle.
She came third in the junior 200-metre final a little bit earlier on in the week. Fiona says, can we have a shout out for Poole Swimming Club's head coach, Barry Aldrich. Hashtag black and yellow. Keep watching on. And Brian Sweeney, I think he's giving you advice to give back out here, Kerry-Ann, but it's pretty much the same for athletes. You can win a race from lane 1 or 4 as long as you stick to your race plan.
That's exactly what I said.
Exactly. Exactly. It's top stuff.
Absolutely.
Keep those tweets coming in. Hashtag BSC17, hashtag stream. It's a warm one inside Ponds Forge this morning. It's Saturday, it's day 5.
Still a really good swim so far from lane 1. Jessica Podger from City of Bristol. She's also done a PB this year just recently, and as you said, she came third in the junior final of the 200 freestyle. So we know that she's got that speed early on. It'll be interesting to see how she gets on a little later. We've got lane 3. Emily, Sophie Smith. She's also starting to work her way up the field, about a body length ahead of Roisin in the lane next to her from Warren de Bath in lane 4.
Well, Roisin has a PB of 4:22.40 done at the Scottish National Age Championships in 2017 this year. So 4:22.40 would be somewhere around what she would like to be seeing. At the moment, just down in 6th position, but that's not unachievable. At this point, you can never tell. The outside lanes, as we were just pointing out, may have gone too quick, may not be able to see the rest, so they don't know how to pace themselves just yet. 3, Sophie Smith, she's in second. And then right on the other side, Michaela Glenister. And then, as we've seen quite a lot this week, it's the middle lanes that are actually dragging behind. The outside going well. 4, 5 and 6 really off the pace.
Well, we just saw a second ago Chloe in the heat before, and Iona, having a little battle, but actually Iona's PB was a lot quicker than her entry time. So sometimes that happens. You have to do within a year, you have to do a 400 freestyle to enter into the 400 freestyle. So if you haven't done a PB or a good time in a while, you might be put into one of the slower heats. But actually, when you get there on the day, your performance is a really good one.
Paul Lawson says Ayana Lawson is packing to come back to Sheffield for the 100 breaststroke tomorrow. Fingers crossed for a fast swim. If you could get Ayana to pack some chocolate for me and Kerry Ann, Paul, that'd be great. Maybe an unused Easter egg. I don't know what a used Easter egg, but an unused Easter egg would be great. Podgett, McKay, Smith, Ramsey, Martin, Sloan, Sansom and Glenister. And at the moment it is Sophie Smith of St Thomas that is having the better of the races here as we come towards the wall then. Kerry Ann is taking a look at the times on the paper, on the wall. It will be 4:21.47 for the St Thomas swimmer. That's a tongue twister if you're not ready for it. Second, Glenister, City of Leicester, 4:22.74. And then Jessica Podgett, 4:23.83. They are confirmed in my ear, and we'll bring them to you on the screen in just a moment. That leaning on the lane ropes and getting a breather. How's that time go? 4:21.47. That good?
That is good. It's 2 seconds under her PB that she's done. So great swim from Sophie Smith there, really pushing it out on her own.
As Tom Cruise would say, mission accomplished. Rather than impossible, I suppose. she's just come in. There's a door. And Kerry Ann every now and again just comes through it as I say things. Heat number 5 now. Elizabeth Harris will go in lane 1. Lucy Ellis of Sunderland in 2. Emily Siebricht, Bath University, should have been in lane number 3, but is not there. Nikki Miller of East Kilbride in 4. Isabel Grant of Sheffield goes in 5. Georgina Boyle, Bath University in 6. Rachel Anderson, Millfield in 7. And Phoebe Griffiths, Ellesmere College Titans. We've discussed this. That's my favourite cap. If I could swim with the words Titan written across my head, I would be a happy man.
I'm going to have to get you a swimming cap.
I just look funny in one. I've worn them. It just shows me what I'm about to look like in another 10 years, to be fair.
Well, if we put Titans on it, then and you like it, then maybe you can just get it tattooed.
I get it shaved
You
into
could.
the side of my hair.
You could get it shaved.
Like some sort of cool local lad. I've never been cool.
So Nikki Miller, who is in lane 4 of this heat from East Kilbride, she PB'd just recently as well this year, so not so long ago. So her PB is a 4:19, so she'll be looking to try and edge under that 4:20 mark. She was 8th. She was placed 8th in the 800 meters final. She actually did the heat, but her time was quicker than the 8th girl who did the final, or the fastest heat at night. So she was placed 8th overall in this. So she'll be wanting to get another second swim in for this. And her actual 400 split was a 4:24.95. So it's about 5 seconds off her PB for the 400 freestyle, but we're only doing a 400 freestyle now, so let's see how close she can get to doing a PB on this.
This is the sort of stuff we've been after for the first 4 days. This is what's happened, and the last couple of tweets coming in, this is exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to talk to those guys at home who are watching, maybe aspiring swimmers, maybe swimmers who just missed out, maybe swimmers who are only just getting into it and thinking, do you know what, I would love to swim at the British Swimming Championships. Even Masters swimmers have been sending us questions into, these are the great things. This is brilliant. Lindsay Hill, straight back from training, and now she's cheering on her teammates at the British Swimming Championships. One day, Abs, you'll be there. Train hard. Absolutely
Amazing.
The message. Absolutely the message. There we can see Abs lying on the sofa, watching the stream. Dog lying down as too. Clearly all swimming fans, whether 2 legs or 4, they're all swimming fans in that house. Liam Morgan is watching before he leaves to travel home from university. Don't forget, everything, Liam, like your phone charger and that sort of stuff. Some great heats so far. Keep those tweets coming in. Hashtag BSC17, hashtag stream, and we'll try and read out some of the best ones we've got going through. At the moment, going through the best is Nikki Miller, 2:06.73. See what I did there? Second, Isabel Grant of Sheffield, 2:07.18. We see some great swims, Ellie Faulkner being one of them, here in this pool from Sheffield swimmers in front of a big crowd, and they've got some massive receptions.
Oh, the noise has been in, like last night I think there was a visible difference in the crowd, and actually you could hear them as well, and every time a City of Sheffield swimmer came out, people were going mental, and we had some great swims last night from City of Sheffield swimmers. We're coming into the third 100 of this Heat 5 of the women's 400 freestyle. So Nikki Miller is turning, that's it. She turns in a 3:12.54. So she is very much on target to do a PB here. If she can go, you know, a nice last 100 here. I was trying to work out the maths in my head, but we've already established this morning that maths was not my strong point. But she's doing a good job. She's getting a little bit of a fight there from Isabel Grant from the City of Sheffield. I'm sure that the crowd will start to get a little rowdier coming down this last 50 metres. So 50 metres to go. That's Nikki Miller turning first in a 3:45.71. She knows she's down this last 100, this last 50 of this 400, and she knows that people are going to start to cheer on, and she knows if she just gets to the wall first, she has a really great opportunity to make one of those finals this evening. We'll have to wait to see how the rest of the heats get on, but she is definitely being challenged now by Isabel Grant of City of Sheffield. And coming down to the last few strokes, 5 meters to go, and it's such a close race between these two. Has Isabel just taken it? Oh, just on the touch, Nikki Miller takes it.
And again, being demonstrated here in the heats, these youngsters, it means so much. And even in the heat, if you have a game plan, correct me if I'm wrong here, even if you have a game plan, you see somebody come on your shoulder, you still want to beat them. Even if you've got a game plan of just make sure you do this, this, and this, the next thing you know, you get that racer's instinct, don't you? And the person appears on your shoulder, you think, no, I'm winning this heat, I don't care. You know, all of a sudden you just kick into an extra gear.
When I was training, I would always make sure that my last 100 meters was the fastest I could do.
So the results coming up in just a moment. Miller with the win. Georgina Boyle disqualified for Bath University, so it's Miller, Grant and Anderson at the top three. 2 inside 4:19 at this stage. We'll be happy with that as we move on to heat number 6. See the ladies readying themselves for the start.
So this is the first of the 2 seeded heats that we have tonight, or this morning in fact. Eleanor Faulkner in this one, Holly Hibbert, Hannah Miley, but we still have Jazz Carling and Camilla Hattersley to come in the next heat. Ellie Faulkner's had a great meet so far in those sprint events. She used to be known for the 800s. Don't know whether she's taking a little bit of time out from them or if she's decided that she's going to sprint. And the fact that she is British champion in the 200 freestyle is showing that she has all the ability to win these sprint events.
Ashley says he's very excited for the men's 50 heats this morning. We're still trying to come up with a definitive new name. It's the Splash and Dash, and we want to try and modernise it, but at the moment we're struggling. The breathe and die was one of the ones the other day. We had quite a few other ones as well. But can we get a new name? Can we get a new name for the 53? We go with the Splash and Dash for now, but can we get a new title? You've got all morning to think of one, but keep your tweets coming into us. Hashtag BSC17, hashtag live stream. So Molly Wright, Noah Centurion in 1. Emma Keegan, City of Sheffield goes in 2. Hannah Miley. Ever heard of her? She goes in 3, Aberdeen. Holly Hibbert, Stockport Metro in 4. Eleanor Faulkner, City of Sheffield in 5. Abby Houston goes in 6, also from Sheffield. Monique Olivier of Edinburgh University. That's the lady from Luxembourg, if I remember rightly. Maya Westlake, City of Sheffield, goes in 8. 4 swimmers from the City of Sheffield, all in one race, filling half of the lanes that are here. And if we get half of the excitement we've had from some of these City of Sheffield swimmers in this heat, this should be a good one. These will all be pushing, because this is interesting. There's some big names in here who will want, nay, expect to make the final, but there is another heat after this. So some of the youngsters who will want and maybe surprise to get in the final might have to push them a little bit harder, and maybe some of the bigger names in this one will just have to go that little bit quicker than they probably want to.
Yeah, so Holly Hibbert, we know she's having a good meet so far. She was second in that 800 freestyle, which was, you know, a little bit of a shock, I would have thought for people, but not for Holly. She knew that's what she wanted to do. She really challenged Jazz Carling in the last, well, for the whole of the 800, in fact. So she is in a really good shape. We know Ellie Faulkner as well is in really good shape. She was third in that 100 freestyle last night and first in the 200 freestyle on the first night of this British Swimming Championships. So, and then we have Hannah Miley, who, you know, she is the oldest in this heat by, you know, a fair distance, but she is not going to let anybody tell her that she can't do this. She does multiple events. She really loves coming in to do these freestyle races because she trains freestyle quite a lot of the time. Medley is obviously a big part of her training as well, but freestyle events I know that Hannah quite enjoys. And it looks like coming up to this 300-meter mark that Holly Hibbert has decided she's going to take the lead, but Hannah Miley is very close behind her. But again, we know that Ellie Faulkner has that speed. So it is 400. Is this maybe going to be a bit too far for her? Who knows? Who knows?
Hibbert from Miley, from Faulkner. I just got challenged.
Ooh.
On. I love a challenge. Got challenged on Twitter here. Jill says, good luck to Josh Thompson from all the coaches and swimmers at Carnforth Otters. I bet you don't know where Carnforth is. Well, that's funny, because I got asked that a couple of years ago and I remember figuring it out. It is actually, it's in Lancaster, and I even know there is a little superstore just around the corner. Look at that. Hopefully, Jill, you're happy with that?
Challenge accepted. Taken. Coming down to the last 25 metres. Ellie Faulkner has not let them get away, although Holly Hibbert is still in front on this 400 freestyle. Hannah Miley still there. It looks like first, second and third might be Holly Hibbert, maybe Hannah Miley, maybe Ellie Faulkner. It depends who's got the longest arms. And it looks like Holly Hibbert takes the lead on that one. She touches in a 4:12.49. Second, just by the looks of things, by 1/100th is Hannah Miley in second and Ellie Faulkner third in a 4:13.12.
So the final swimmer coming in here in lane 2, Amber Keegan coming in. That's the final swimmer to finish the race. Just a little bit too quick for her. The results coming up just now. That's Holly Hibbert, Hannah Miley, Ella Faulkner. That's probably the big three that you would have thought. The rest behind there, Abby Houston with a good performance in 4:16.90. Monique Olivier swimming in lane number 5, 4:17.01. Don't get frightened, ladies and gentlemen. Do not get frightened about what's coming up next. Look at that, it does. There you go. There's a camera just over there. We're going to give you a bit of a wave. You've been wondering what we look like here in the commentary box. This is exactly where we are. We're having a great morning. We've had the 6 heats so far. Final heat of 7 here. The women's 400-meter freestyle heats coming up. Reese, I believe it's Reese, says, splash and dash, nah. Spin for the win.
Oh, I like that one.
Oh, we've got a favourite.
I like that
one.
one.
Well done. We're gonna favourite that and retweet it.
Spin for the win.
Spin for
That's
the win
really
race. That is not bad, actually.
Hashtag spin for the win.
Yeah. Here we go. If you like that, keep that coming. Maybe you breathe, you lose. This is kind of a theme here. That's coming in from Ian Fulcher. Leah Crisp, City of Leeds in 1. Isabel Griffiths, City of Birmingham in 2. Catherine Greenslade, Edinburgh University in 3. Jasmine Carlin in 4, Bath University. 5, Kimberly Hattersley, City of Glasgow. Alice Deering, Loughborough University in 4. 5 is Georgia Darwin of Newcastle. And Maisie McCartney of Thanet Swim goes in 8. And in fact, McCartney and Darwin couldn't split them. 30.37 at the turn. Neither of them wanted to be 8th. So they're both 7th instead.
Fair enough.
Keep those tweets coming into his hashtag BSC17. If you can put the hashtag stream or live stream in there as well, we know that you're not in the venue. Good luck to Mark laying in heat 1 of the 53. Hashtag smash it. That's one. But well, at the moment, the spin for the win is Kerry Ann's favourite.
Yeah,
so we'll see how far that one goes.
So into this, the final heat of the women's 400 freestyle, and Jazz Carling has already made her move. She's getting closer, body length ahead of the rest of the field. But if you look at the entry times that we've had so far, Jazz is entered on a 4:01.23, which is her personal best. Then we have second behind that is Camilla Hattersley, entered on a 4:09, and then above her, which is Catherine Greenslade from Edinburgh University, is entered on 4:12. So we do expect Jazz to be quite far ahead of the rest of the field. We're coming up to the halfway mark on this next turn, and we'll see just how far ahead Jazz is.
Of course, double Olympic medalist, the 400, the 800, and you consider who she was swimming against. You know, you have to say, sometimes you have to hold your hands up and just admit that an opponent is in a different league. You know, some people who swam against your Phelpses in the past and your Lochtys in different events, as people do now, hold their hands up and look at Adam Peaty in the same vein and say, you know what, I can't compete, but hopefully I can get somewhere near. Katie Ledecky at the moment is just a different gravy, as the saying goes.
She absolutely is. She is one of those names almost like the new Michael Phelps. In fact, I think she is the new Michael Phelps. She's so far ahead of the rest of the field, and she's just a wonderful athlete. She swims so beautifully. She races beautifully. Just everything about what she does is just incredible, and I absolutely love watching her swim. And you know, we were all wanting and willing Jazz to win that gold medal, but I think everyone, including Jazz, will stand there, as you say, and just go, you know what, fair play, you are awesome.
Transfer Olympics down to domestic, and is that pretty much how Jazz is to the rest of the field here? How Katie is to everybody in the Olympics, is that what Jazz is in the 800 and the 400s here in Britain to everybody else? It does feel like that. Not that we're not seeing people trying, because we are chasing and chasing all the time. We've already seen this week improvements, but the last couple of years, Jazz has dominated, quite rightly so. The effort that goes in, the work rate. I saw Lewis Coleman last night on my way out. He was talking about the effort that she's putting in and the amount of time she's now spending back in the water since that rest from Rio, and she's desperate to keep that roller coaster going. You know, you have bad days, you have good days, and the last, you'd have to say, 4 years since the back of London, that disappointment of not getting there, she's on the up of that roller coaster. How high can it go?
Yeah, I think coming home from the Rio Olympics with 2 Olympic silver medals was just, you know, mind-blowing. And Jazz absolutely loved it. You know, I went into the Olympic Village after my race and I spent some time with the girls, and they were just, you know, absolutely loving life. And Jazz was just so happy with what she did. You know, she won 2 Olympic silver medals, which was just amazing. And now we're just into the finish, as we expected. Lane 4, Jazz Carling. She touches first in a 4:12.71. Second place is Camilla Hattersley from City of Glasgow, and third place then was Holly Hibbett. No, Catherine Greenslade, sorry.
Greenslade has got in there into third, actually.
Holly was in the heat before.
You're nearly there.
Almost. I'll get there. Just day 5.
Just 4.5 minutes too late on that one. So the swimmers coming in. A couple of moments ago, you see them there. Jazz Carling, Camilla Hattersley and Catherine Greenslade are the confirmed victors of the race. And as you say, 4:12.71. All about that energy conservation. And, you know, it will make some of the younger swimmers feel a little bit sick. There she is doing a 4:12 at a breeze. Here I am, scraping to get to my personal best, and I'm really striving for it. But that's what comes. The more and more you do it, the better and better you get. Sometimes those morning swims for the superstars of our industry are a little bit easier than it is for the rest. But it's still not easy, is it? Let's be frank.
She is an Olympic silver medalist, double Olympic silver medalist for a reason. So she's just conserving her energy at the moment. And, you know, you said you spoke to Lewis and she took some time off, quite a lot of time off. So to expect athletes who've done such amazing jobs, and she probably didn't actually take time off in terms of being busy and doing stuff. So I know that Adam Peaty and I know that Jazz Carling both had ridiculous media things to do when they got home, like amazing, and they're absolutely loving every part of it. But you know, it was a lot of media interviews, it's a lot of traveling, it's being here, it's being up early to be on TV and to do all that kind of stuff. So yes, they weren't swimming, but it certainly wasn't, you know, feet up on the beach, hands behind the head, having a bit of a chill.
I know that our reporter Stephen Jameson caught up with Ross Murdoch last night after his victory. He was exceptionally happy with his victory, but he was actually talking about the fact that he had gained quite a bit of weight after Rio. He was on the burgers, and he was kind of just chilling out and trying to sort himself out mentally and just take some time out. And he's worked very hard. You wouldn't have known. He doesn't look like he's had burgers like I look like I've had burgers. I think they're different burgers, quite frankly. But he's done that. He's taken the time to chill. But then he's committed himself to getting back to it. And there he was, top of the podium again. I mean, that's graft.
It totally is, and he just absolutely loves it. He's had such a big change just recently, not only coming out of it and being the Olympic gold medalist and everything else that he did while he was out in Rio, inspiring not just our nation but the whole world. Everyone was talking about Adam Peaty. Everyone's new favourite swimmer is Adam Peaty, which is just amazing. But if you can't enjoy burgers at the end of a 4-year cycle, beginning of the next 4-year cycle, then then I wouldn't be swimming if I couldn't have enjoyed a burger every now and then.
Other junk food is available. So this is the 200 metres individual medley heats now then. We've seen the 400 already this week. We're now turning our attentions to the 200, and we should be wetting our lips. And during the second heat, we'll talk about why we should be wetting our lips, because what we saw in the 400 excites us. So we are interested in the 200. And one James Goddard, who's working in the venue, believes, and we'll talk about this more in depth in a little while, but he believes his British record could go today. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. In lane 3, William Bell, City of Leicester. Alistair McGee goes in lane 4 for South Ayrshire. James Woodward of Potters Bar is in 5, and Henry Corran of Hastings goes in lane number 6. So first heat, I get to do a special mention in heat number 3 for a young man who means a little bit to our family, so that's good. I'll mention that a little bit later on. I'm waiting to see if my daughter's progressed in the swimming world, how I'll be here. I've never had to try and deal with that, but there you go. Things you learn as you go on. She's only 10, we're all right, we're okay for now. Woodward from Bell, from Corran and McGee. Toby says, forget splash and dash, it's dive and drive. That's 2 good ones this morning.
It is 2 good ones
I'm not sure that's outpegged the last, but dive and drive, we're quite good with that. A question from Ashley Thomason, we'll answer that in a moment. Coming to the wall, nice and easy, 2:10.08. I know Carrie-Anne is keeping her eye on times that we've got up here. It's 2:10.08, good.
I can say that William Bell, who was the second one there, is the youngest in the field, 2:10.90. For him is absolutely a PB. I'll just need to quickly double check again. James Woodward, yep, 2:12.04 was his PB before that, so 2:10.08. These boys are having good swims, and that's what we have said earlier. We're expecting the youngsters to come here and use the opportunity to do some best times.
Somebody's brought a pot of sugary, chewy jelly worms.
When you say someone,
I brought a pot of chewy, sugary jelly worms up to the table, and they're staring
they're
at me.
really sour.
They're looking, sour. They are looking at me. But what's not sour are the performances in the water.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God, sorry. We're going to move on to Heat 2 in just a second. Sam Daly of Plymouth Leander goes in lane 1. Tony Joe Tret Oliver, who picked up a 400 IM junior second place finish. He's in 2 from Mount Kelly. Nova Centurions William Gain is in 3. Jack O'Brien, City of Manchester Aquatics in 4. Michael Rees of Sutton Cheam in 5. Andrew McIntosh of East Kilbride in 6. Mason Wilby of Loughborough University in 7. Marcus Day of Salford goes in lane number 8. So, one James Goddard once swam 1:57.12 back in 2009 in Rome. And,
I was there, I watched it.
You were there, you watched it. People like Liam Tancock set his records in 2009 at the same events. Joe was in Rome as well. He thinks his record's going today. I'm going to put this out to you guys at home as well. Hashtag BSC17. Is that 8-year record going today? Yes or no?
I think it could do. Max
I said
Litchfield.
yes or no.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, I don't know. Sorry, Jimmy. I think there's every opportunity, and Max Litchfield is such a great 400 medley. He's already broken a British record, and if we're looking at Dan Wallace, whose record he did break, he tweeted instantly after that saying records are there to be broken, and now Max is riding that wave, riding that high, he's going to want to see what he can post here. He's clearly in a really good form, so why not go for that second British record? Why not have double British record in the same meet for that? And, you know, it's a 9-year, 8-year record, I think you said a second ago, so why not go for it? We're looking at the, we're here for qualifications as well. This isn't just a meet just to crown the British champion. There's qualifications, and that qualification time for the 200 is actually 1/100th quicker than that British record. It's a 1:57.11. British record from James Goddard in Rome 2009 is a 1:57.12. So I think that he'll be thinking about, maybe he's just going to think about qualification standard. He probably hasn't even looked at the British record, to be honest. He's probably thinking qualification standard is what I need to do.
He's got some good challenges around him. I mean, should the usual names get there, but you would think that Duncan Scott and Dan Wallace also, they are quick. Dan Wallace's personal best is 1:57.59 done in the World Championships in 2015. He's got some great challenges. Tony Joe Tread Oliver, as we mentioned, a winner. A silver winner, silver second place, should I say, in the 400 TT the other day. He's now won his heat here from lane number 2. The Mount Kelly swimmer picks up a 2:10.25. Michael Rees, Sutton team 2:10.94 in third, and will be sandwiched in the middle of that from Loughborough 2:10.39. 3 of them inside 2:11. How do those times fare?
So that's just about half a second PB actually from Tony Joe. So he is really happy. He should be really happy with that. Should make it back again into one of those junior finals. Who knows? Maybe even a senior final. But I would think maybe 2:10 might not make it into that senior final. But PB, he'll be happy.
Heat 3 coming up in just a second. Danielle Radford watching in Perth, Australia. Whilst my mum is watching back at home. Doesn't say where home is. Ashley Thomason said, question to both of us, what do British swimmers need to do to beat these American swimmers? It's a really easy answer. Swim faster.
Swim faster, train harder. We probably could do a few more 50-metre pools, I think.
Yeah, well,
up and down the country. Facilities is quite a big one.
It's a huge open question, is that? And the basic one is swim faster. After that, there's a lot of politics goes off, and a lot of different things need to happen, not just within swimming, but nationwide to, as you say, help out having more funding and more 50-metre pools. But there we go. Right, Rachel Pinnington watching the swimming whilst ironing. That seems to be a Saturday morning thing. Enjoying the live stream all week with great commentary supporting the city of Birmingham. That's Warren Higgins. You must be listening to a different channel. Thank you very much to Warren. Keep those tweets coming. Hashtag BSC17. Hashtag live stream. We will take a look at them. And what a start this is in lane number 4. Ewan Cowan in 1, York City. Mount Kelly's Finn Linton goes in 2. Cameron Muir of South Ayrshire goes in 3. Matthew George has gone here from City of Salford. 5 is Rickard Frost, City of Cardiff. City of Derby's Gregory Butler in 6. Jasper Lai of City of Bristol in 7. And William Foster, City of Derby, goes in lane 8. What a first 100.
Absolutely.
From Matthew George.
Yeah. And the 200 medley, 400 medley, they're really interesting races. For those of you at home, when you hear people talk about IM or individual medley, this is what it is. It's one length, the 200, it's one length of every stroke. So it's not just a case of being a really good freestyler or backstroker or breaststroker or fly swimmer. You have to be good at all of it. And then there's things as well involved with this. There's the turns that you have to do. Every turn is different. Every turn has different rules around how you do that. And now we can see that clearly, things have changed already. Lane 7 has now taken the lead. Jasper Lyle has now taken the lead. He had clearly a much better 50 breaststroke, and that's probably one of the reasons why Matthew George went out so fast, because he knew his breaststroke was probably one of his weaker parts. But predominantly, if you have a good butterfly, generally you have a pretty good freestyle.
And
so we'll have to wait to see.
That's where the big moment comes, isn't it? That final 50 turn in the 200 IM. It's just a turn and go. And George is desperately trying to claw back the lead. He had early doors. He doesn't quite get there. Jasper Lai, City of Bristol, 2:10.33. Foster, 2:10.54. Just 0.2 of a second and a smidge more outside of Jasper and Matthew George of Salford. It's 3 City Ofs, in fact 4 City Ofs to begin with. And, that's heat number 3. William Foster, I know his granddad.
You know his granddad?
His granddad is a very good friend of my uncle, so hello, Skip. If you're watching on, William Foster there, swimming for City of Derby, and I'm pleased to say he's got a second place finish in his heat. That means I might make a pound. I don't know, maybe I will. William Foster there, behind Jasper Lay, Matthew George finishing in third.
There's 8 heats of this 200 individual medley. We've got 3 seeded heats a little later on from heat 6, a couple more of the first rounds of heats, so 4 and 5. Got Charlie Hutchison in this one. We've seen him a few times this week.
He was first in the junior 400 IM final. He was one of those that just raced away, and he actually got a huge round of applause in the evening that night. He was a real tremendous performance, and I think in the morning sessions we saw his mum jumping up and down at the time, and then in the evening likewise he absolutely smashed it. He wasn't either one that looked up and just gave a little bit of a wink.
I was just going to say, a real little character going there. He's pretty young. He's he's 2002 born, and he's going to do, I think he's going to do great things. Just needs to, swim down a little quicker. As we had a conversation the other day with his coach, Alan Bircher, and he said it took him 50 minutes to do a swim down because he was too busy talking. But I also have to say that I used to do the same thing. We used to just end up talking. But, we don't see all of our friends as much as this when we're at competitions and things like that. So it's nice to come away and speak to people.
It takes you 27 minutes to climb the 38 steps there are to our commentary position, because there's 6 different rows of people you have to speak to on your way up the stairs. Take a look at the names in heat number 4.
In lane 1, we have Alexander Boyd from Thanet Swim. Lane 2, James Watson from Plymouth Leander. Lane 3, Charlie Hutchison from Ellesmere. Lane 4, Miles Stirk from City of Leeds. Lane 5, Joel Thompson from Chivalrous. Lane 6, Oliver Crosby from Stockport Metro. Lane 7, Ben Harrison from Mount Kelly. And in lane 8, Richard Mawson from City of Leeds. And we're now at that breaststroke turn, so we've only got 150 left to go on this swim. And in lane 3, we have Charlie Hutchison. We knew that he was going to do something here, and he absolutely is starting to, to take that step forward. From Ellesmere College, coming down to this last bit. Oh, things are starting to be challenged. Lane 7, all the way on the other side of the lane. Oh, Ben Harrison is going to take the lead, actually. He's just smoked from the outside in lane 7. Ben Harrison in a 2:07.47. Just checking back here to see what that time is like. He's been entered, Ben Harrison from Mount Kelly, on a 2:09.86. which was a PB that he did last year at the British Summer Championships. And that looks like he has done a nice PB then. Just awaiting for his results. All the boys puffing at the end of it, which is very expected because they've swum really hard for the last 4 lengths.
Harrison behind Stirk, Hutchinson behind Harrison, but we do have to wait for the confirmed results. It's Harrison, Hutchinson, Watson. That nearly sounded like Heskey to Owen in goal, but it was a similar thing. That's a throwback for anybody in the early 2000s. Harrison, Hutchinson, Watson, goal. Heat 5 coming up. Ryan Retson in this 5th heat. He goes in lane 2. He was 3rd in the junior final the other night. Kerry-Ann will let you know about his 7 opponents in just a second.
So in lane 1 we have Luke Robbins from Millfield. Lane 2, Ryan Retson from First. In lane 3, John Brittle from Ealing. In lane 4, Reuben Kings from Portsmouth North Sea. In lane 5, Jacob Goodman from Millfield. Lane 6, Brendan Nabarro from Putteridge. In lane 7, Archie Goodman from Warren de Baths. And in lane 8, Lewis Fraser from Swansea Aquatics. So we're now on to the backstroke. I mentioned earlier about the turns and how all the turns are different. The butterfly to backstroke turn, you have to touch with 2 hands or else you get disqualified. This backstroke to breaststroke turn is one that I'm particularly fascinated with, and there are so many different ways of doing it. If we can watch this this last bit of this backstroke into breaststroke turn, I bet if you look across the board, people will do it differently. And then we go into backstroke to breaststroke turn. You have to touch with 1 hand, but you have to be on your back, and then you turn onto your front, and then you push off. Every single one of those boys there doing a different turn up into the breaststroke. And then we get to the end of this 50 on this breaststroke leg, and you have to touch again with 2 hands on the wall. Interesting swim there from lane 3, from John Britton. He's swimming really close to that lane rope, and you see that quite often when swimmers swim close to the lane rope, because we're so used to swimming around a lane. You swim at one side, you swim back down the other side, and when you get to these races where you're on your own, you should really be swimming up and down the middle. So coming into this last turn here, touching with 2 hands, and then onto the freestyle.
So John Britton leading the charge as he comes back down. Second, Archie Goodburn. And that's not a given, because Brandon Nabarro is pushing him, and the 2 of them are closing in on John Britton. But in fact, the man with the name of the nation will touch first. And 2:06.95 from Goodburn. From Robbins, who wings his way into 3rd position.
That's just on his PB there, 2:06.95 PB from John, and that is exactly the same time that he did. Just waiting for these results to come up now. That's exactly his PB. John Britton, Luke Robbins, and Brandon Navarro. But look down at the bottom, Archie Goodburn, Lewis Fraser, both of those being disqualified. There's so many different things that can happen in a 200 medley, and it's always a shame when you look up and you see that you're disqualified. But that's just, unfortunately, the way things go. We're coming in now to our seeded heats of this men's 200 individual medley. In lane 1, we have Sam Horrocks from Manchester Aquatic Centre. Lane 2, Jacob Green from Taunton. Lane 3, Jarvis Parkinson from London Aquatics. Lane 4, Mark Sharanek from Edinburgh University. Lane 5, Xavier Mohammed from City of Cardiff. In lane 6, Brody Williams from Millfield. In lane 7, Kieran Preston from Edinburgh University. And finishing up in lane 8 is Richard Nagy from City of Sheffield. We've seen him a couple of times now, Richard Nagy. He unfortunately can't make it through into the finals because he isn't British, and as this is a British Championships and a qualifier for the World Championships. But that doesn't mean that he can't come and have a really good race. So I'd be keeping my eyes on lane 8 as well from Richard Nagy, who swims here. This is his home pool, City of Sheffield. Looking forward to seeing how this race goes. But at the moment, it is lane 4, Mark Sharanek. He is taking the lead on this with Xavier Mohammed and Richard Nagy. Lane 1, actually, that's Sam Horrocks, all working their way up this field, coming into this back to breaststroke turn. Xavier Mohammed takes the lead, Mark Sharanek right behind him, but anything can change.
Spoke to Russ Barber the other day, Nagy, definitely Richard Nagy.
Nagy, sorry.
Olympian Richard Nagy, remember? 59.02. That was his turn. Only 1 man outside of a minute at halfway, so tough going for Kieran Preston of Edinburgh University. Not so tough for Sharanek and Mohammed. In fact, those 2 pretty much neck and neck here, just 8/100ths of a second at the turn. And these heats getting faster and faster. Remember, there's 8 of these, so to be fair, these 2 have got to go for it if they want to place in the final, because we've seen some youngsters in the last few heats really dig deep and find an extra level, but it's between Sharanek, Mohammed, and here comes Jarvis Parkinson of London Aquatics, former Doncaster Dart. He is darting his way through, and I tell you what, another 5 or so meters, and that would have been close. 2:65 for Sharanek, 2:01.20 for Parkinson, who gets past Mohammed What a finish from Jarvis Parkinson down the final, maybe 40. I didn't see him at the turn, but at 40, all of a sudden you thought, hang on a minute.
That was a storming finish there from lane 3 from Jarvis Parkins. He had such a good time. He decided, right, freestyle is going to be where I'm going to make my move, and that's exactly what he did. And wow, finishing just behind Mark Sharanek there. So very impressive swim.
Keep those tweets coming. Hashtag BSC17. We're not ignoring you. We're just scribbling names and numbers and times on bits of paper as we go along. There's no swimmer in lane 1 of this next heat. Nathan Hughes is meant to be there. He's not.
Nathan's had a pretty busy meet so far. There's been quite a lot of events coming forth in the 400 IM, so maybe he decided to have a lie-in this morning, prepare for another one of his races. So the swimmers in this heat: lane 2, James Brown from Loughborough University. Lane 3, Fraser Minikin from Loughborough University. Lane 4, Duncan Scott from University of Stirling. And lane 5, Joe Litchfield from City of Sheffield. Lane 6, Joseph Hume from Bath University. Lane 7, Thomas Dean from Maidenhead. And lane 8, Thomas Payne from City of Manchester Aquatics. Speaking of Thomas Payne, I'm not sure if they are related, but this morning, I don't know if you remember, a couple of days ago, we had quite a few tweets from someone with the very same surname, and her her daughter and her niece came down today, and I was so happy that they caught me just as I was walking in, and I managed to grab a quick selfie with them with the pool in the background. So that was really nice. So shout out there to Olivia and Molly, who are sitting in the crowd right now, enjoying watching this heat session on day 5. So back to the swimming now. This is a close race between lane 4 and 5, which is Duncan Scott, Joe Litchfield, the brother of Max Litchfield. So he's going to want to get back into the final so he can race his brother again. I can't imagine what it's like racing a brother, especially so close. Just my sister and I would have probably never spoken again, I think, if we had raced in the same heat.
Duncan Scott, don't forget, a 2014 junior gold medal winner, 2:04.54, but you just only turn the clock forward a couple of years and see how those times improved. 1:59.88 as he got a bronze in the main final in 2016. Last year, he got a personal best of 1:59.88, Duncan Scott. And as we race down, it is Joe Litchfield and Duncan Scott.
That's a good swim from Joe as he touches first in a 2:01.14. Duncan Scott a 2:01.71 just behind him, and third was lane 2, James Brown. Interesting swim there from Joe Litchfield, actually. I know that, and everyone knows, not just me, that Duncan has stronger events. He's British champion for the 100 freestyle, so to still take him down on that last 50 meters there of freestyle, that was a really good swim from Joe Litchfield.
James Brown will be looking to get down those times as he progresses through his career.
This is our final heat of the men's 200 individual medley. This is one of the first times we'll see Dan Wallace racing at this championships. Spoke to him a couple of days ago and he said he was taking a bit of a break from the 400 medley. I wonder if he might do a couple more this year just to see if he can try and win that British record back from Max Litchfield, who we also have in this race.
And got Martin Walton of University of Stirling. Chris Walton says, "Go Marty!" Lots of Y's.
Go Marty.
Go Marty, indeed. I've met Chris before. A lot of the younger swimmer parents out in Baku a couple of years ago in the European Games may or may not have shared a glass of water with them. You're laughing at?
Nothing.
I've lost her. Through the 25-metre marker in the backstroke leg they go. Then it is one Martin Walton. He's 19. He won't be 20 until August this year. He born in Stevenage in Hertfordshire, a place I've lived in. Not Stevenage itself, but Hertfordshire. And Martin Walton competing hard. But he's with Max Litchfield, another that we've been keeping our eyes on. The man swimming for City of Sheffield. There's a PB in this of 1:59.94 at the World University Games 2015. We were going to mention the other night that the World University Games is on again this year. It's in Chinese Taipei, for those that want to know.
Yeah, absolutely. And at that halfway mark, it was Max Litchfield turning first, closely followed by Martin Walton from University of Stirling. But now we're at that third 50. First place still Max Litchfield at the moment, but second place Dan Wallace having a brilliant breaststroke leg of that 200 individual medley. We're coming down to the last parts of the race, 25 metres to go. It's still Max going to be in first. I'm pretty sure he's going to take the win on this. Dan Wallace has had a storming second half of this 200 individual medley, just feeling his way into things, coming into the last 5 metres. Definitely going to be Max that touches first in a 2 minutes 04, very closely followed behind by Dan Wallace of University of Stirling in a 2:01.8.
Just goes to show you what Max Litchfield is doing right now. He would have swum under himself there to make sure he's got plenty for tonight. 1/10 outside of his own personal best in a heat swim, and you know he'll be swimming within himself. So that's quite frightening. Dan Wallace 2:01.08. He will equally have been doing exactly the same thing. A man that's capable of 1:57.59. Last year's champion was Robbie Pavoni. We no longer get to say Robbie Pavoni. He's one of those that retired from swimming. So Ian Lloyd followed him, and Duncan Scott was bronze last year. Mark Zoranic, who we saw having a real tussle with Jarvis Parkinson and Xavier Mohammed a few heats ago, he was fourth last year. So we'll keep an eye on those positions from last year. We're going to move into the women's 200 metres individual medley event this time. So we've seen what the guys can do. Rod, hello Rod, how are you? Hashtag BSC17, hashtag live stream. It says a great in-venue commentary here at Ponds Forge, but I've actually got one earphone in just in case we talk about some biscuit action like we did the other day. You know, it's painful dropping a biscuit, and Rod is obviously caring enough to make sure he keeps an ear on us just in case we suffer again.
Just in case you suffer again.
Well, I see how you've deflected that. Nice.
I can't actually eat biscuits, which is annoying. Well, I can, as long as they're gluten-free biscuits.
I can't. Can somebody just tweet that back to me? I can't actually eat biscuits.
Unless they're gluten-free biscuits. So if anybody wants to bring up some gluten-free biscuits, that'd probably do us both a world of good.
For more comedic value, if you could just all tweet I can't eat biscuits, hashtag, that would be very, very good.
So a couple of big names to look out for in this women's 200 individual medley. We get that chance to see Siobhan Marie O'Connor again a little bit later, winning an Olympic medal in Rio. Very much looking forward to seeing how she gets on. Hannah Miley will be back in the pool again, no doubt. After doing a 400 freestyle, she'll have gone straight to that swim down pool. Done a swim down and been back.
We keep asking you for your questions, and Matthew Johnson is just testing the brain cells. He says, another question of the day. Who was the first man to go sub-2 in the men's 200 IM, and in what year? 1991 in Perth is the answer. Tamas Dani of Hungary in the World Championships, 1:59.36.
Technically, you cheated again.
What do you mean, technically I cheated again?
Technically, you cheated again. I think being handed a piece of paper with the name on it kind of means cheating. But to be fair, you're an expert at calling things out, commentating on the swim, but you know, remembering who did what very, very, very long time ago.
I don't remember anything. You ask my wife, who's currently trying to get her case delivered from France that was forgotten on a plane yesterday.
Oh
Ouch.
no.
Sorry, love. Oh, it will be my fault.
Of course.
Of course. Erin Davies, City of Birmingham, goes here in lane 4. Enfield's Megan Malloy. You can hear Kerry Ann laughing. The hashtag I can't eat biscuits has just caught on inside the venue as well. Brilliant. 1:07.94 is the turn for Megan Malloy as Erin Davies, City of Birmingham, goes in 1:07.72. Pretty close. There should have been 3 ladies in this one, but there's only the 2. Is that difficult? Is that difficult to go out with just a few of you? Just a couple of you?
Yeah, but I quite like it. I quite like when there's just a few of you, because it's a real race then between you and the girl next to you, especially on these early heats. Everyone's entered on roughly the same times. I mean, the girls that were in this heat entered on a 2:24.21, 2:24.23. There's only 2/100ths of a second between these two. And I always think that's quite exciting, especially on a race like the 200 individual medley, where there are 4 strokes that you have to do, 4 different skills that you have to do, good turns, good starts, making sure you get things through. But on this heat at the moment, Erin Davis is doing a really good job. She did a PB just recently of a 2:24.21, so we'll see how she does when she comes through into the last sort of 15 to 20 meters of this freestyle leg of the first heat of the women's 200 individual medley. It looks like she is holding her own. She is going to finish this race with a win, and that is a win from Erin Davis in lane 4 in a 2:23.35. So that's a PB for her. So PB just recently and another PB again today here.
Keep those tweets coming. I'm chuckling away that people actually tweeted with "I can't eat biscuits." That's superb. Erin Davies, Megan Malloy, keep those tweets coming in. What I will say is that Spencer George says, "I can't believe that you can't eat biscuits, Alan. It was not about me, trust me." Megan Sheard will go in lane 1 of our next heat. There's the result for heat number 1. It was Davies from Malloy. Tough swim for the two of them to go out there on their own this morning. But, you know, at least you can just look across to your left. You know which side you've got to look each time you turn.
But it changes.
Yeah, but no point looking the other way once you've turned around. I'm not daft. Megan Sheard in 1. Kate Clifton goes into the city of Sheffield. Katie Taylor, Heart Melodian, goes in 3. Kira Henley, Stockport Metro in 4. Elizabeth Kingham, city of Birmingham in 5. Michaela Glenister, city of Leicester in 6. Savannah Best, Mount Kelly, goes in 7. Next week, by the way, if you are wanting more swimming action on YouTube, and don't forget to like and subscribe if that's how you're watching it as well, or the British Swimming website, you can watch the British Para Swimming International Meet, as we all call it, BIPSM. BIPSM 17 is with us, a 4-day competition. But the reason it's called the British Para Swimming International Meet is it's not just swimmers from around Britain vying to become the British champion. It's also an invitational event, and it's part of the IPC's World Cup event now, I believe. And we're bringing swimmers from all around the world. So some top names will be here swimming. If you want to get involved, make sure you're watching that on YouTube or the British Swimming website. And they're going to do a thing called the skins race, which is a new. Yeah, do you know a little bit?
Yeah.
I knew a little bit about it.
Yeah, I love the skins race.
Yeah, I've never had the pleasure of commentating on it, but it's in the program. On day 2 and 3, there'll be 2 skin races on each day. So you know, opportunity for something different. If you've never been to a swimming event, you can't get to Sheffield, make sure you're watching next week. A bit of skins event.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look at the rules of that, but if it's the rules that I've done skins race before, basically it's 50s, and you pick either, it's either going to be one stroke specifically, or it's a medley one, and you pick a ball out of a hat, and then you just go, and one person gets knocked out.
That's the baby.
And they all have to walk back, the next person gets knocked out. So if you win, not only do you have to do pretty much 8 50s, but you also win, generally there's something else a bit more special that they give away. Than,
there's some cash.
Some cash.
You're not going to lie, there's some cash. But yeah, obviously, I love the way you went, you have to walk back. Yeah, no running on poolside. Yeah, the rules still apply here at Ponds Forge. So keep those tweets coming into us. This is heat number 2. Megan Sheard, Stockport. Kate Clifton, city of Sheffield. Katie Taylor, Heart of Midlothian. Kira Henley, Stockport Metro. Elizabeth Kingham, city of Birmingham. Michaela Glenister, city of Leicester. Savannah Best, Mount Kelly. And Kerry Annie's going to keep her eye on the times as they come towards the wall. These youngsters looking to improve on what they already have, which are already impressive times, but their coaches and their parents will be looking on, the selectors as well, keeping a keen eye as we come through the final 25 then, and it's Kate Clifton who's having a stormer, 1:48.74 at the last term. How's she going to fare in these last 15 metres, Kerry Ann?
She's doing a really good job. Is she going to hold off from the other side of the pool in lane 6? I think she might just touch in first, and she does. Oh, no, she doesn't. It was just Michaela. She touched first. She had longer arms, maybe longer fingernails. She just touched the wall first ahead of her. So Michaela Glenster touches first in a 2:22.64. Her PB before that was a 2:24.01. So that is a nice PB then for Michaela. Also a PB as well for Kate Clifton. She was entered in a 2:24.09, and she's also gone a nice PB there.
The mother of one of the said para swimmers I was talking about a little bit earlier on. We were on about the para swimming meet. Kim Craig, mother of Joseph Craig, is tweeting in, well done. She's saying to a couple of people that are swimming here representing Sunderland, as Joseph does as well. So keep your tweets coming in, and Sophie Jenkinson is periscoping herself watching us do the stream on her TV. That's at a whole different level of world, but there you go. He says go something or other. She's writing on the screen as we go. But keep those tweets coming in. Hashtag BSC17. Hashtag I don't like biscuits. Well, I can't eat biscuits. Through 25 they go. Lily Booker, City of Bristol in 1. Debbie Cocking of Rotherham Metro goes in 2. Amelia Monaghan, City of Peter in 3. Jasmine McRae of Poole in 4. Annalise Bainan of Cardiff goes in 5. Bainan for Cardiff. Rebecca Clines of City of Leeds in 6. Daisy Platts, City of Leicester, and Ellie Wheeler, Basildon in 8.
I love the 200 medley events because it just brings so many different people from different events. So Daisy Platts then, we just mentioned, she was 7th in the 200 backstroke, which was the junior final from a couple of days ago. So she's decided backstroke is what I want to do, but maybe 200 medley is also what I want to do. And actually, on this backstroke leg, as I would have expected, the person that's going to touch the wall first is our backstroke. Oh no, 7. And oh, it's close. Daisy Platts, like I said, she just turns first there in a 104.25, very closely behind Debbie Cocking, who turns second, really closely behind her. But it's now into the breaststroke leg, and we'll have to wait to see what happens at the end of this 50. So many changes can happen in a 200 medley.
At the moment, Debbie Cocking, Kerry Ann here, has turned from that backstroke leg and started to move away. As you can see at the bottom of your screens here, lane 1 just struggling Lily Booker, but then all of a sudden Rotherham Metro's Debbie Cocking going well. But keep an eye on Amelia Monaghan as well, who is racing through, and she will be the leader from 4th to 1st. That's how 50 metres can change in a 200-metre individual medley. And it's Monaghan now who will be desperately hoping that her sprint finish is quicker than the rest.
Absolutely, like I said earlier, generally if you've got a good butterfly and a good backstroke, you've got a good freestyle. And it's that breaststroke leg where you really need to start pushing on, start making the gains, or the opposite way around. Maybe your butterfly's not quite as good, your freestyle's not quite as good, but breaststroke is your strong point. For me, breaststroke was never my strong point, and freestyle for a strong point here in lane 4 from Jasmine. She is coming up right behind, but it will be lane 3. Amelia Monaghan touching first in a 2:21.97, closely followed by Jasmine McRae of Poole, and then 3rd is Rebecca Clines from City of Leeds in a 2:22.87. So close times between those girls. Daisy Platts looking like she's 4th there, 2:23.48. Jasmine McRae just did a PB recently, not that long ago, of a 2:23.26. So that's a nice little PB for her.
Saw a clip of one of the City of Peterborough coaches just there on your screen. He's not sad because of his swimmers. He supports the same football team as me, and things are looking hard. There's his notes. Look, win a game, stay up. Lose a game, look sad.
Well, he wasn't doing
scores
just then.
They might have been swimming times, actually, to be fair. So that was heat number 3. This is heat number 4, and just like our swimmer in that graphic, you're looking to reach number 1 spot. You notice the hand stops in lane 1? It's not an accident. Ellie Riley in lane 2 for Hart Midlothian. Daisy Anderson of Thanet Swim goes in 3. Eleanor Southwood of Ellesmere College Titans goes in 4. Kaylee Parker of Street in 5. Laura Copping of Hatfield in 6. Lucy Ross of East Kilbride in 7. And Rosie Morgan goes in lane number 8. Keep those tweets coming. Hashtag BSC17. Hashtag stream if you've got any more questions. It'd be great to know what they are for us.
Got Eleanor Southward in this one from Ellesmere College. She had a really good 200 backstroke. She was 4th in the junior final for the 200 backstroke. And we've already mentioned backstrokers tend to like doing 200 medleys. And when I was a youngster, as we say now, when you get a little bit older, I used to do 200 backstrokes and 200 medleys as well. And for me, if I was roughly the same time for my 200 backstroke and my 200 medley, then I was doing pretty well. And, you know, for Eleanor Southwood, she went a 2:14 for that 200 backstroke, which is a really fast time. Her PB currently for the 200 medley is a 2:20, so I wonder if there's maybe a way of her getting close down to that 2:14 mark. If she does, she'll be certainly pushing to make it into that senior final, absolutely. But we're into the breaststroke leg now of this 200 individual medley. Things are starting to change just a little bit between lane 4 and lane 5. Eleanor Southwood of Ellesmere College and Kaylee Parker of Street. We'll see what happens. It looks like Kaylee's going to take it on this one, but we still have that freestyle leg to go. So we're coming into the last few strokes I mentioned earlier about the turns. You have to touch with 2 hands on the breaststroke to freestyle turns, 2 hands on the butterfly to backstroke turns, and backstroke to breaststroke turns are all a little bit complicated, but basically you have to touch on your back. You can do whatever you want on the wall, and you turn onto your front and you do breaststroke.
So Parker from southward. From Anderson, that's how the turn went, 5-4-3. But the battle is on to become one.
Is that a Spice Girls reference?
Maybe.
I'm sure you did an S-Club reference a second ago as well.
Nope.
Have I missed a trick here?
Reaching for the wall, now I've done it, is Kaylee Parker. Helena Southwood, Ellesmere College Titans goes second. Daisy Anderson of Thanet Swim in 2:23.37. If you've never been to a British swimming event, sometimes during the warm-ups, the music changes from day to day. We had a 90s pop morning for the warm-up this morning, so a lot of people dancing around to things like the Spice Girls and S Club 7 and other assorted pop classics. I use that term very loosely, by the way, classics, but so we're just waiting for the official results from our timekeepers, who I believe it's the birthday of the man in charge. I'm just trying to get confirmation on that. The man who looks over all the times and controls everything that happens in what they call the Amiga suite. I think it's his birthday, but I'm going to just double check on that. There's the official results. Parker from Southwood from Anderson. We're going to go back a couple of heats here and a bit of a stat for you, Kerry Ann, that's come in. And this is what we like. You know, we can remember so much and then deliver the rest as you bring it in. Kate Clifton swam in lane 2 of the second heat. And Ali has said the mother of Kate Clifton in that previous heat is Karen Clifton, Karen Mellor, who swam the 800 free in Seoul at the Olympics.
No way. Wow.
There you are, you see.
That's
That's just
so
where
cool.
I came back from, Sol.
What were you doing out there?
Frozen water, ice hockey.
Frozen water.
Frozen water,
so
ice
it's
hockey.
definitely a water theme.
Well, it was a water theme to be. Yeah, people always say if there's a body of water, Alan Martin's somewhere near it. And now I've gone into frozen stuff as well. So frozen water to water. But yeah, Seoul, the Olympics, well done. Thank you very much to Ali for that. Karen Clifton or Karen Mellor, who swam the 800 free in the Seoul Olympics. Hashtag BSC17. Hashtag live stream. If you've got some other nuggets, gems of information, and we're quite happy to receive those. Thank you very much for that. Charlotte Nesta goes for Wigan in 1. Katie Smith of Warren Bar Club in 2. Rebecca Sutton, Bridgend in 3. Eleanor Cowan of Wickham District in 4. 5 is Megan Byrne, Barnet Copthall. Madeline Hardingham in 6. Keelan Fitton, Borough of Kirklees in 7. And Caitlin Bergen of Stockport Metro goes in 8.
We're coming up to my favourite turn now. Mentioned it quite a few times, but I do quite enjoy it. I think it's fascinating. And actually, we have an outside swimmer now from lane 8. Caitlin turning there in a 103.94 from Stockport Metro. Caitlin Bergen. That's a nice first 100 for her there. Working really hard on this breaststroke. We've got the Stockport Metro coaches just really close. There's only one lane between lane 8. Then there's lane 9, and the Stockport Metro coaches are right there, so I've no doubt you can hear people shouting and cheering on poolside that they'll be doing that exact same thing in a second, willing her on to get to the wall on this breaststroke leg as quickly as she can. There's lots of finals up for stake here. We know that there is that junior final, which is the first one where you can qualify for a whole host of different events later on in the summer. Then there's the Target Tokyo final, and then we have that senior final. Actually, things changed slightly then. So lane 4, Eleanor Cowan, she turned first on that breaststroke. She is powering through on this freestyle. She looks to me like she's going to take the win, but hopefully from lane 8, Caitlin Bergen might still be able to sneak in a really good swim. Lane 3 is just, Rebecca Sutton has just taken over from her. Lane 1 actually on this side of the pool that's closest to us. Charlotte Nesta, she's also looking like it's going to be a close race for third. But first, touching the wall is Eleanor Cowan in a 2:20.13.
Smile there. Big smile from Eleanor Cowan. You, as we say, sometimes you're unaware of every swimmer's ambition. You know, you can have all the big dogs in the main races and you kind of know what they're aiming for. They're aiming for that title. They're aiming for that that chance to represent their nation at a senior competition. Some of these young ladies, as we've mentioned before, just vying for that chance to go off to Israel or Indianapolis, or another place in Hungary which has the European Youth Olympic Festival. So times to them very, very important. The official results, Cowan, Sutton, Bergen on the scoreboard. Kelly Podbury says, enjoying the commentary here at these champs. Keep up the great work. Go Kaylee Parker and Rachel Anderson. We've also got Ian Fulcher says, let's go Aidan Sparling, 53. Hashtag livestream, hashtag BSC17. Keep your stats and tweets coming, and we will keep reading them out. Rachel Holmes says, great to see Lizzie Kingham swim in the 200 IM. John Ford says, go Rory Huggins in the 53 splash and dash. We're trying to change that. Keep those names for the 50 metres freestyle coming through. If you think you can give us a better one than the splash and dash. Julie Wood says, go Abby Wood in the 200 IM. I used to do the wood for the trees jokes with the Wood family, as you would, inside the venue. Go Abby Wood. 200 IM, hashtag BSC17, hashtag stream. Great to hear from you, Julie. Thank you very much. Keep those tweets coming in. Stephen Stanley says, I can't eat biscuits, and then Rod says, I do lessons. So we've now got biscuit banter because of Kerry Ann Payne. Nadia Wilkinson says, go, Katie Matz. Lots and lots of tweeting coming in now. This is absolutely fantastic. Oh, wow. There's one for you. I'm going to give you you're leaving me in about 30 minutes, I believe. Probably less than that, to be fair. So you've got 5 minutes to have a think. Ashley with a great question here. If you could pick any swimmer from any nation, what would your dream medley relay team be? And I'd like a male-female mix as the answer. So Kerry's going to think about that. We're going to take a look at heat number 6. Wow. That's a heck of a question. I think, can I give you the breaststroke here?
I think I've got that one.
Nailed on?
Yep.
You're right with that?
Nailed,
Maybe Ledecky to bring it home if it's a 4?
Maybe.
Yeah. I'll leave that with you. But I think the whole world goes, 50-metre breaststroke? Adam Peaty? Madeline Dyer, City of Sheffield goes in 1. Rosanna Arnold, Dan at swim in 2. Harlan Malothian, Kiana McInnes in 3. Molly Allen, City of Peterborough in 4. Holly Shepherd, Royal Wolverhampton School in 5. Tia Ward, City of Leeds in 6. Jane Brown, Newcastle in 7. And Tori Sopp of Wirral Metro goes in lane number 8. Now we're discussing a little bit earlier these qualification times for World Championships. The time that these ladies will need to win a race and beat later on. 2:09.56. Jojo maybe? I'm just throwing names now. Kerry Ann Payne as we go along.
Almost, I'm getting there.
All right, don't good. Oh, she's gone quicker than I thought. The consideration time, 2:10.75. So actually these two are quite close together. We've seen quite big gaps in some of them between qualification time and consideration time. This one a little bit tighter, and so too actually in the men's 200 IM. That was 1:57.11 or 1:58.55. So actually just over a second the difference between those two. A little bit more of a gap in this women's 200 IM, 2:09.56 and 2:10.75. The British record in this belongs to one Siobhan Marie O'Connor, who obviously is coming up a little bit later on. She's actually the fastest entry time. Her 2:06.88 from Rio is indeed the British record. We've got the splits time for that to give you as we go through it. But here in the sprint finish, you've got right on the outside Tori Sopp smashing away at the water and just about holding a lead. The other two probably can't see her. In fact, as we come down, I think it is Sopp as they come past my eye line. In fact, she's starting to pull away now. The Wirral Metro swimmer is going to be away from Shepherd, and Allen on the near side. Arnold and Dyer battling it out, but it's Sopp, Allen, Shepherd, Arnold and Dyer. Good finish.
Brilliant finish. Desperately trying to rack my brains for which I think would be the best 100 freestyle woman. Maybe somebody can help me out. I'm looking for a woman for the 100 freestyle, which would be one of the best 100 freestylers to add to my relay.
So Emily Budzinski, and she's going to tell me if I got that close or not, but Emily Budzinski says, I'm watching the swimming and writing my swimmers' sets for next week. So multitasking and maybe learning something from Kerry-Ann as you go along as well. So that's good. Thank you, Emily, for your tweet. Hashtag BSC17, hashtag livestream. We'll give you that dream medley relay team shortly. Heat number 7 now. Molly Renshaw in 1, Orla Adams in 2 of Aberdeen. Maidenhead's Constance Dean is in 3. Emma Day at Loughborough University in 4. Georgia Coates, City of Leeds, is in 5. Anna Newlands, Edinburgh University in 6. Amy Bell, City of Sheffield in 7. And Tara Howarth, Lincoln Vulcans, goes in lane number 8. Molly Renshaw out there in lane 1. Kerry-Ann, be a big challenge for some of these swimmers around her.
Well, we're getting closer now to the faster heats of the 200 individual medley, so we'll start to see quite a few changes in these heats now. Lots of people being slightly better at one event and then improving in other events. So we've got backstrokers coming to swim this, we've got freestylers coming to swim this, we've got breaststrokers coming to swim this event, the 200 medley, because it is essentially one length of every single one of those strokes. So you'll see a lot of people that have great first hundreds. That was certainly me. I used to have a pretty good first 100, and then there would just be an awful 50 breaststroke, just try and make my way through it to then finish down the last straight of the freestyle. But on this occasion, lane 4, Emma Day is having a cracking swim here. She is still holding off on all those breaststrokers.
I was just watching the contest between Renshaw and Adams here in lane 1. We know what Molly can do over a breaststroke leg, and her stroke, just a long, powerful stroke. You see Orla Adams having to come up a lot quicker and back down again a lot quicker, and that was a good swim from Molly Renshaw to get herself up into 2nd place, just dominating the lady next to her. It was a real masterclass of the breaststroke for the lady next to her. Aberdeen's Orla Adams would have been watching on thinking, how on earth are you going past me so easily? What's going on? But that's just time, and that's just class. And Molly Renshaw from the outside here, I did say she might be a big surprise in this heat. She is going for it. Her entry time into this for Molly Renshaw is some 2:18.79. Forget that, 2:15.55. Molly Renshaw entered in 2:18.79. I think that might have been her personal best as well. Absolutely flown during that.
That is a really good swim from Molly, and a really good freestyle leg as well. Again, it's always quite interesting watching a breaststroker do an individual medley to see what their freestyle is like, and sometimes they tend to struggle, but Molly certainly didn't struggle on that one, and she finished in a great time there, 2:15.55.
Perfect finish as well, just the rotation of the arm, and right at the end of that rotation was the wall. What perfectly executed finish from Molly Renshaw. We saw a couple the other day where just that choice to go for the extra stroke cost them, or somebody trying to glide in and actually you could have got another one in. It's just that last second decision making, isn't it?
Yeah, so on the breaststroke events and the butterfly events, you have more of an opportunity to see the wall because you know exactly where the wall is coming, so you adjust your stroke before you get to those flags, whether you need to have slightly longer strokes when you're a bit further out or shorter strokes so that you can finish your stroke perfectly timed. And you'll also see that on this as well, even though this is part of the 200 medley, on this fly stroke, people are already starting to plan when they're going to touch the wall, some doing, you know, a bit extra fly kick underwater, some doing a slightly shorter stroke, and the same on the breaststroke. On the freestyle and backstroke events, you, well, the freestyle, you're obviously facing down, backstroke, you're facing up. That's why we have flags along the side of the pool so that you can see when the wall, you know when there's only 5 meters to go for that backstroke to nail that turn. And again, now we're coming into quite an interesting turn, that back to breaststroke turn. This is the point where a lot of people that can come unstuck if they don't plan or don't have haven't prepared as well for this turn. And then on freestyle, that's why you have the T along the side of the pool. A lot of people ask me what the T is for, why is it there? It's not just to help you swim in a straight line or swim around the lane. That little T there is to give you a bit of a guide of how far it is to the wall.
Right, so you're learning things all the time. We're learning things as well. We asked about the gesture that William Bell made at the end of his race, and that's because the local ASA pay for county records. Oh, cha-ching, new trainer time.
Nice.
Maybe a bag of sweets. I'm
Maybe.
not sure how much that will be. I've got a house. Broken Legacy record. So we'll see how that goes. Becky Harrison says quick coffee stop to watch the swimming. Go Aidan Sparling. So he's up a little bit later on. Ollie's picked his team. At the end of this race, we're going to get Kerry Ann, and I'll compare it to Ollie as well. Or he says his team aren't allowed to eat too many biscuits. So that's part of the training regime from Ollie. Thank you very much. This is Wilson, Jones, Miley, Hall, Mackenzie, Large and Robinson. Some people in this race already. We've seen some ecstatic and some stunned emotions. Emily Large of Newcastle the other day was just like, whoa, this is amazing, this is brilliant. Hannah Miley, though, over these sorts of events, over this distance, she is a very tough customer. Look at that, 2:14.05, and what apparently was a canter.
Yeah, Hannah Miley, she just does so many events. She's already been in the water once this morning, did a 400. She's like, yeah, whatever. I'll just go do a quick swim down and I'll come back and smash this 200 medley.
If you've ever seen the gif of Alan Partridge just shrugging his shoulders, that's what Hannah Miley does when somebody says, you've got to swim all the events.
Yeah,
okay,
fine, fair
no
enough.
bother. I think that's perfectly fitting, actually. Hannah, you've got to swim all the events. So she's more than happy with that. 400 gold already, of course. Candy Hall was fourth in the 400 IM, and Emily Large, who was the junior first place finisher in that 400 IM as well. So lots of talent in that second, or in that heat number 8. 9 heats, just showing you how many ladies want to and can compete in a 200 IM. Right, away they go. We've got Seabrick, Featherstone, Matt O'Connor, Wood, Schloshan, Rudin and Snedden. Very quickly, a dream medley team for Kerry Ann Payne would be?
My dream medley team, this is from anybody. On the backstroke, I would have to put James Goddard. I know that James hasn't swum for a long time, but he is a fighter. He hates to lose, and in a relay, I know that he would do a great job on that. Then, of course, I would have Adam doing the breaststroke, definitely. I'd also have James Guy for the same reason as I would have James Goddard, because they love fighting. They love kind of racing and just being part of that relay team.
Nice.
And then my 50 freestyle, or my 100 freestyle at the end would be Britta Steffen, who was just, and is still just, an incredible lady to do that last 100 freestyle.
Look at that, there you go. Bit of old school, bit of new school. And
mainly old, no, half and half, yeah.
Half and half. And then Britta Steffen getting in there as well. So in the backstroke leg, it is Siobhan Marie O'Connor already. The Woods will be jumping up and down, watching the stream if they're at home or if they're in the venue. Either way, they'll be supporting Abby alongside Siobhan Marie O'Connor, now swimming out of Loughborough University, Abby Wood. And she was a bronze medal in the 400. So she's already medalled here. And at the moment, Rosie Rudin, who was got a special mention at the beginning of the programme as well, Kerry Ann. Some exciting talent, Wood and Rudin, and it's not like we're talking about O'Connor being old either, is it really?
No, she is still a youngster, really. I would consider very experienced youngster, but she is absolutely the favourite in this event at this British Championships, and one that we're hoping that she will make the qualification standard, which is a 2:09.56 for the World Championships. Siobhan's personal best is a 2:06.88, so she very much has the ability to do that, and she's showing us this morning that she's just getting in there. She's done quite a few races just recently. She did a 50 freestyle, she did the 100 freestyle, she was second in that 100 freestyle, but the medley is her race, and she wants to make sure that she wins it, not only wins it, but she does that qualifying time.
Well, it is the winner of the last 3 times out. It is Siobhan Marie O'Connor, 2:09.71, 2014, 2:09.51, 2015, slightly slower the year after, 2:09.66, but a 2:06.88 from that semi-final in Rio. She is a quick lady and a dominant force in the 200 metres individual medley races. So, well, I'm going to lose Kerry Ann for a little while. She'll be back, hopefully, for the 800 Invitational, hopefully. Hopefully Carrie Ann come back, yeah. She'll be back for that. She's off to go and do a couple of interviews that will hopefully show you on the coverage tonight. Some very important people have got some messages about the meet so far and their expectations, and maybe their not just their expectations from this, but also going forward. Now she's stealing my sweets before she leaves. Scandalous. We've had 9 heats of the women's 200 metres individual medley. Ashley Buck says good luck to Nez from Newmarket in heat 1 of the 50 metres free. The boy is fast. Hashtag live streaming. You send us a tweet with hashtag BSC17. We will send you a message back by saying it out. Tori Sop, wow, what a race. Sonia Payne sticking with the hashtag from night number 1, which was wow. Reese says Ryan Murphy, Adam Peaty, Sarah Sjostrom, and Simone Manuel. Yeah, okay, that's another one to put into the mix there. Murphy, Peaty, Sjostrom, and Campbell. Kate Campbell for Ollie. So people picking their own ideal and dream medley people. Top work by City of Peterborough Swimming Club. Let's keep the great performances rolling along with the great commentary. Thank you very much, Liam Knight. Louise Ellis, why do we only use 8 lanes? You mentioned that earlier and I meant to answer that. Actually, I meant to give you an answer rather than answer that question. Do you know what? When I got here, somebody told me why, and I can't remember, but we are is the answer. They only use 8 at senior events, at international events, so I imagine we're just trying to follow protocol with that. Stephen Stanley is still looking for a new version of the splash and dash over 50 metres free. Remember, we were asking this question, if you could rename the 50 freestyle, the splash and dash is what it's been called for so long now. If you could rename it, what would it be? The Stephen Stanley says, I'm clutching at straws here. Maybe the plunge and lunge? I'm not having that one, Stephen. I'm not even going to put it in the pot. Keep those tweets coming. Ryan Gordon, City of Derby in 2. Kaio Tanner, Ellesmere in 3. Mark Lang, Hales Owen in 4, Benjamin Horner, Hastings in 5, Luke Turley of Hatfield in 6, Ignacio Laguero of Newmarket in 7. Craig McLean will take your comments into consideration. Thank you very much for getting in touch. As they come into the final 5, on the far side, Laguero is doing very well here, 24.10. Youngster from Newmarket gets in. That was who was being spoken about a little bit earlier on from Ashley Buck. So Ashley called him Nez. Ignacio Laguero is how we think it's said. Hopefully we've got that right. And keep those tweets coming. Hashtag BSC17. Hashtag live stream if you want to send us a message. Heat 2 coming up then. Thomas Flower, Murray Couslant, Jake Clapperson, Aidan Sparling, Daniel Morley, Connor Joyce, Sam Pippin. That is the full lineup. So Richmond, Dale, Aberdeen, Stockport, Atlantis, Derwent, Side, Cockermouth and Wickham District. No lane 8 here in this heat. As they come towards the 15-metre marker, it's a tight one, but on the far side, Pippin doing well, but here in 3, Clapperson coming forward, Sparling also touching just in second, 24.24 from 24.29 from 24.32. So Clapperson of Stockport, 24.24. So 3 getting themselves ready You just see their heads appearing at the bottom of your screen a moment ago as they climb onto the blocks at the diving pit end here of Ponsforge International Sports Centre in Sheffield, United Kingdom. If you're watching from elsewhere and you're not sure where that is, it's middle-ish, a bit north to the left. Ewan Smith, Samuel Chell, Michael Whitten, Dale Hughes, Daniel Austin. And we've got Sam Daly, Joel Waterson and Harry Maishman. Woking, Billingham, Maxwell Conway, Salford, Plymouth, Isle of Man and Maxwell again at the wall. It's Conway's Dale Hughes. And Hughes takes it in 23.87. He's inside 24. Jane Jones said good luck to Harry and Michael from Maxwell. Well, they've been and gone. Keep your tweets coming. More suggestions for that 50-metre freestyle. Instead of splash and dash, we've got glide and ride. Yeah, maybe. Ollie says good luck to Sam Irvine and Yusuke Lejard in the 50 free. Smash it up, lads. Keep those tweets coming in. Hashtag BSC17, hashtag stream. This is Adam Metcalf, Thomas Carswell, Miles Sturck, Mac McCusker, Harry Turner, Jordan Cooley, Hamish Skillman, Lewis Kerrod. That is the full lineup as they already hit that 25-metre mark. You see the larger red markers down the spine of the pool on those lane ropes, and the arms are a windmilling as they head down on the far side. A lot of outside lanes doing well. Lewis Kerrod looks like he might get there and does. 23.89 from Jordan Cooley of Cockermouth in 6, and then it was Max McCusker of Millfield who led his teammate Skillman just by 3/100ths of a second. 23.89 inside 24 for Lewis Kerrod of Leicester as he takes heat 4. You see the water flying everywhere as they come into a flurry of finish in these 50-metre races. All the action being brought to you by the team behind the scenes here, and 23.89 Lewis Kerrod takes that 4th heat. Harry Constantine, Thomas Bealey, Cameron Brooks-Clark, James Eddy, Lewis Barker, Rory Huggins, Benjamin Martin and Ben Stanford go in heat number 5 now. There are 8 heats in the men's 50 freestyle. Looking good in 4 this time around. It is James Eddy, Wickham District, 23.82. Oh, it's a tight one in second. Huggins and Constantine, 6 for Huggins and lane 1 for Constantine. They were just 2/100ths of a second ahead of Barker, but they're exactly the same time as each other, just missing out on the magic 24 sub. But 23.82 for James Eddy, he's inside that time. And we continue on to the next heat. The 53, of course, is an event where a qualification time will be asked for, and 21.54, which is Ben Proud's British record, swum at the Olympics. A big ask after a long rest for some of these athletes, maybe coming back into their season maybe a little later than normal. But Ben Proud, the reigning champion of the last 2 years, looking for a hat-trick. But the qualification time, 21.54, individual consideration time, 22 seconds. Now, of course, can help populate the relays as well. So this is James Oxborough, Scott McClay, Kieran McGuckin, David Cumberledge, Alexander Bowen, Samuel Irvin, Elliot Clogg and Lewis Fraser. And, wow, Cumberledge, very strong, very quick, 22.34. Good swim from lane 4 here in heat 6. The man from Edinburgh University. Outside of him was Kieran McGuckin, who was also from Edinburgh University, and in fact a disqualification for lane 4. So it means that, well, it's a hat-trick of Loughborough University swimmers that get there in the end. Then Bowen, Oxborough and Irvine. And Cumberledge had a big lead going into the wall, but he has been disqualified from heat 6, so it means we now move on to heat 7. Alexander Smith, Andrew Weatherick, Lewis Clifford Stevenson, Thomas Fannin, Daniel Spears, Miles Monroe, James Brinkley and Andrew Roy. In fact, there is no swimmer in lane number 2. And as they come towards, this time in 4, Thomas Fannin, 22.28, big swim from Fannin as well. Went into this in a 22.30. So he's inside the entry time. So those are results for 7. It is Fannin that takes it as we start to move on to the last heat. Heat 8 of 8 in the men's 50 metres freestyle heats. Ashley says I'm loving watching the spin and win. That's his new nickname for the splash and dash. Who do you think is going to win it, Ashley? O'Sullivan, Ray, Thorpe, Ben Proud, Yusuke Ledyard, Bain, Burris and Watson. The final heat has the man that's been quickest for the last 2 years, and he's so big, he's so powerful, 21.64. He's just 1/10 outside of the qualification time in the heats. Ben Proud ripping it up, 1/10 outside of the British record, and he's smiling. We actually went to school with one of the camera ladies here at the British Swimming Championships of 2017. Things you learn. People were talking in my ear there. And one of the camera ladies that we have on site went to school with Ben Proud, but he will be exceptionally happy with that. 21.64, just 1/10 outside, and he does rather coast at the end a little, so there's plenty more that Ben Proud can offer us. That Rio swim of 21.54 is now the British record. You've got to go some 20.91. Zakielo of Brazil swimming that in Sao Paulo in 2009. So Proud, 21.54 is what he wants to break not only his own British record personal best, that's the qualification time he'll need tonight. He has a 21.64 as a practice run. He's Jack Thorpe, 22.68. Yes, that's a second in it over 50 metres. Fantastic stuff. We've got the women's 50 backstroke races coming up in just a second. So he just asked who people think will win the men's 50 freestyle, and Ashley says Ben Proud will win this evening, especially after that heat swim. So You know, if you think differently, let us know. But Ben Brown, I must admit, looking very good to become a hat-trick champion over the 53. It's a little bit different for the women's 50 metres backstroke event. No qualification times in this, but if we take a look at the senior events for the last 3 years, there have been different winners. Kathleen Dawson won the British Summer Champs. It wasn't one of the major champs last year, but Kathleen Dawson winning the British Summer Champs in 2016. Georgia Davies winning it in London in 2015. Lauren Quigley winning it in Glasgow in 2014. So some different winners looking around. As we move into the first of 7 heats for the 50 metres backstroke. Pia Murray, Ellesmere, Lucy Hardy of Liverpool, and Maisie Easter, coached by Alex Pinniger, UEA Norwich, University of East Anglia, if you want to know the UEA. And as they come towards the wall, Murray, very quick here, 29.75. Huge cheer from the crowd. Pia Murray's personal best was 30.74, so that's just 1/100th of a second from being an entire second quicker. So well done, Pia Murray. There was a huge cheer, so expect that somebody in the Murray camp happy with that. So Ben Proud's mum up there, reporting back to base, I'm sure. Heat 2 coming up. Catherine Henderson, Daisy Platts, Pavan Mawa, should I say, Maddie Harris, Sophie Johnson, Alice Goulby, and Charlotte Fletcher Stables. Nova Centurion, Leicester, Borough of Harrow, Swinquined, Teddington, Millfield, and Northampton. A whole host of different clubs trying to produce youngsters for the future, and it's Daisy Platts from Catherine Henderson, and Charlotte Fletcher Stables of Northampton getting third, 29.99. So it's an emergency time for Daisy Platts. It's inside 30. Heat 3 in just a moment. Katie Laybourne of Hartlepool is in lane 1. Lane 2, Eleanor Mitchell, London Aquatics. 3, Jane Brown, Newcastle. We've already seen that young lady once this morning. Megan Maybanks is in 3. Dunmow Atlantis. Imogen Mears of Bromley. Athena Clayson, Mount Kelly. Ellesmere College have Eleanor Southwood. Another one that's definitely swum already this morning, along with many of these. And then Lucy Farmer, City of Milton Keynes, out in lane number 8. As always, the silence from the start observed impeccably by parents and swimmers and coaches alike. And it allows these swimmers to get away. And it is Laybourne of Hartlepool has had a good start on the near side, but coming through in 4. Megan Maybanks now starting to look the stronger of the swimmers, but on the far side, keep paying attention to Farmer. Farmer second, joint with Clayson. It is Maybanks, but Farmer was coming just over 2/10 slower than Maybanks, and she's absolutely bang level with Athena Clayson. Holly Miles said, swim fast, Megan Maybanks from Dunmow Atlantis. We're with you all the way. Thank you very much to Holly Miles. Shearer Beach Hotel says, how about this one, the nifty 50? Yeah, maybe. Sharon McDonald, which just goes to show we can have different opinions on this. Love watching the live stream, watched most of the week, great swimming. There you are, people are allowed opinion. The one thing I will say, lovers or haters, swimming is being brought to you. That is the most important thing. Hashtag BSC17, you being able to watch it is what's important to us. You choose to listen to the words that me and Kerry-Ann say, even better. Martha Dooley, Caitlin Bergen, Charlotte Evans, Courtney Price, Kiara Barber, Rachel Wellings, Amy Philpott, and Gulsum O'Neill. Hello to mum of Gulsum O'Neill. She was talking to me yesterday. Her father's from Turkey, swims for West Lothian here. And I said, am I saying your name right? And she said, I don't know. Which was a good answer. She said, that's my mum. So Gulsum O'Neill, who won one of the junior events yesterday, was very happy. She's based just in front of our commentary position, but she's not going to win this one because Charlotte Evans is all over it. 29.52 for the Loughborough swimmer. So Evans from Price, from Wellings. So that's heat 4. You see them coming in, and sometimes it's more difficult than that to call. But you could see the gap for Evans as she came in. When they're right in a line. Very, very tough to call from right up here at the top of Ponds Ford. But we've got a great position. We're pretty much level with the 10 metres to go marker. I would say we're probably more in line with the 9. We've got Rebecca Sherwin, Raquel Matos, Harriet West, Lucy Hope, Kirsty Simpson, Chloe Golding, Debbie Cocking and Lauren Cox. It's the lineup for heat number 5. First to come through that 25-metre marker, Lucy Hope here. 28.47 done at the East District Grand Prix. She silver in the Summer Champs last year, and Hope stretching out the lead with virtually every stroke towards the end there. 28.69. West on 29.04, so we're inside 29 now. West and Simpson settle for second and third. So we move on to 6. You see Hope easily picking up the victory in that heat. 2 more to go. You would imagine that's her safely into tonight's final. Harriet Cooper, Lexi Waller, Cassie Wilde, Kathleen Dawson, Anna Main, Lauren Quigley, former winner and British champion of this event, Freya Rayner, and Emma Harvey. Loughborough, Harden Midlothian, Ellesmere, University of Stirling, Woking, Liverpool, Sunderland, and Millfield to complete the lineup. Don't forget, we've got the 800 metres invitational race to come. Six guys going in the 800 invitational fairly soon. Here, Cooper, Waller, Wild, Dawson, Main, Quigley, Rayner and Harvey get away, and through 25 as you would expect. Kathleen Dawson, a PB of 28.12 from the Edinburgh International only this year as well. She is the reigning Summer Champs champion, and she is racing away from the rest of the field, quickly trying to keep pace. So too is Wild, but it will be Dawson. 28.47, and in fact Anna Main comes in third as well. It's 28.47 for Dawson. Second then Lauren Quigley, 28.95. Now swimming for City of Liverpool, Lauren Quigley. Anna Main is our third place finish. You see as they come into shot there under the flags with 5 to go, and it's nice and easy for Kathleen Dawson at the wall. But you have to say, the the lady with the quickest time on paper, a Commonwealth champion, a Commonwealth Games British record breaker, should I say. But Georgia Davies, winning in 2014, bronze in 2010, bronze medalist in Euros as well, silver in 2014. She's done a 27.84 recently, so that's out in Barcelona at the Mare Nostrum events. So it's Bosley, McIntosh, Allen, Davies, Avramova, Crane, Reed and Drew as they come to 25. It is Georgia Davies who's holding off the rest of the field, not just holding off, she's moving off from them as well. As you take a look there, you can see her starting to get away, trying to keep pace. Her Avramova and Allen either side of her, but it'll be nice and simple. 28.09. Georgia Davies from Avramova in 28.87. Those two inside 29. Molly Allen, Peterborough, 29.10. So the Commonwealth champ from Avramova, from Allen. 3/10 back from that was Lily Bosley. And we do have the 800-metre invitational coming up in just a moment. Keep your tweets coming. Hashtag BSC17. Hashtag stream if you want to talk to us. Ask us any questions you've got. Send us your messages. You may like the coverage, you may not like the coverage. We need to hear it. It's the whole idea. Interacting more with our viewers, whether you're watching on YouTube, and we would like to ask you to like it and subscribe our YouTube page if that's where you're watching it from. Available on the BBC Red Button again tonight. Most people I know about that are very happy, because that's the thing that we've been saying, that a lot of people want it back on their televisions. Well, you know, television grows. We're now available through YouTube and the British Swimming website as well. 9 different camera angles being used here at these British Swimming Championships of 2017. So we're doing our very best behind the scenes to bring you all of the swimming action of this year's British Swimming Championships, and it's available on more platforms as well for you. YouTube, British Swimming website, and tonight we're back on the Red Button for the BBC as well. So thank you for watching. We'll do what we can. So the swimmers for the one and only heat of the 800-metre freestyle invitational have made their way out. And we have Kerry-Ann Payne back with us as well. I'll have a chat with her in a second. Ryan Reeder of Daventio is going to go in lane 2 here. Luke Turley of Hatfield is in lane 3. Daniel Jervis of Swansea Aquatics in 4. Tobias Robinson of Loughborough University in 5. Samuel Budd, City of Sheffield, goes in 6. And Nathan Wells, Loughborough University, is going to go in 7. Don't forget, if you want to talk to us, hashtag BSC17, hashtag stream. Now's a good time to ask any questions. If you're an aspiring 800-metre, whether a male or female, or an aspiring 1500-metre swimmer, or even you fancy having a crack at doing open water, the lady alongside me who's just returned to the commentary box is somebody that you would love to get information from, so keep those questions coming. Kerry-Ann Payne, welcome back. You've just been off interviewing who?
Bill and Chris.
Oh, Bill and Chris.
Yeah.
We'll see those a little bit later on when we go live on the BBC this evening. Again, you can watch us on YouTube and the British Swimming website at the same time as well. Maybe you just put all 3 on. Be a bit weird. It's same coverage. Here at the first 100 metres, Sam Budd of City of Sheffield. He's one of 4 that have already started to pull away from Turley and Reeder. Sam Budd did a 10.16.62 for the Sheffield No Frills in 2010. I love the name of that.
I do love the name of that. I used to love joining the No Frills meets.
it appears on his bio this is the only the second time he's ever swum this distance. So obviously he's done the 15, so he's gone past it.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting one. I even spoke to Dan Jervis the other day about this 800, and I said, how do you prepare for an 800 when you've been so used to doing a 1500? And he said, it's a very good question, Carrie-Anne, in a very Welsh accent. Obviously, I'm not going to do it because I'm not very good at it. He's like, well, I think my 800 was a PB on the 1500, so I was going to do the same again, but faster. And I was like, well, that's what works for me, if that's what you want to do. And he is doing that right now. We know that when he started the 1500, he was behind. He wasn't one of the names that was right at the top. Stephen Milne was, you know, one of the first ones to turn for the first couple 100 meters, and that's the way Stephen likes to swim those races. And the way that Daniel swims those races is by hitting really consistent, solid times. He turned his first 100 in a 56 seconds. His second 100 there is a 156. So he roughly did around about 1 minute for that second 100, and he's going to try and see if he can maintain going a minute or 59 seconds for this 800 to see how he can get on.
After the impressive 1500, he's surely the man we're looking at here in this 800 to lead the rest on, isn't he? Sam Budd and Robinson are trying to keep tabs of him, but surely after that 1500 success, you can't look much further than Dan Jervis.
Absolutely. He's now starting to really, you're now starting to see the difference in what Dan Jervis can do. He'll, you know, we're looking roughly for around about, you know, a 2:56 at this turn to see if he's still holding on to those kind of 1 minute markers exactly there, 2:56. That's just, I think that was maybe a 59.97 or something he did for that 100 there. So he is just going to keep reeling in those minutes, and now instead of on that 8th 100 like he did in the 1500 going another 59, he's going to now try and go a 56 again like he did on that first and last 100.
He swam the 400 metres and came 7th. He did the 1500 metres and got the gold, obviously. He's PB'd in both of those events, made the consideration time, of course, for the 1500 metres. What a great swim that was in the atmosphere. Let's dispel a few myths and rumours. People think the longer distance stuff isn't exciting. You know, some people would say the more you watch it, actually the tactics involved in these races, if you can get yourself buried into the sport, you know, they're actually very exciting indeed. A European junior champion over 1500 in 2004, Commonwealth Games bronze medalist over 1500. His 800 split time in the 1500 was 7:54.84. His old PB, which when he swam this at the European Championships and came 11th, was 7:58.45. So he was actually nearly 4 seconds quicker.
Yeah. That's really good. And, you know, we're at the 400 metre mark now. We're halfway through, so we can start to see how those times are comparing to the 1500s. And if we look at Daniel Jervis there, he turned in a 3:57.31. At the 400 metre mark on the 1500, though, however, he turned in a 3:56.09. So he's about a second off that. But like I said, the last 100, which will be the 800 on this one, he will be swimming harder and a little bit faster because it's the last 100, whereas in the 1500, he was just doing that, you know, to hit the same time for the next 500 metres after that.
In the second half of this race, so a British record, should we get one in this, would have to go quicker than 7:44.32. Whose is that? Carrie-Anne, without looking. Come on.
David Davies.
Yeah, of course it is. 2009 European record, 7:40.81. Who's that, Carrie-Anne?
I wasn't listening, sorry.
Fair enough, okay. Thank you very much. Gregorio Paltrinieri in Kazan. That's all right, it happens a lot at home. Kazan in 2015, 7:40.81. A world record done in 2009 by Lin Zhang, 7:32.12. 7:32.12. 17 years age record. Luke Turley is capable, or at least he's of the age that can break that. 8:03.01 by Thomas Allen. That's stood since 2009 as well. So there you go. We don't do this that often at a senior event. But as you say, people would train for the 1500. You are often given the opportunity to then swim the 800 and vice versa for the ladies as well. So it's not like it's a completely shock to the system.
Yeah.
Dan Jervis is treating this like he did the 1500 metres. He's just swimming his own race. He's swimming at his own pace and trying to go with him. Samuel Budd, City of Sheffield, and Tobias Robinson not far behind. Luke Turley at the moment, 5:42.16 down in 5th position.
Luke's our youngest swimmer in this 800 freestyle, 17 years old. It's about 2 years between him and the rest of the field. Nathan Wells, Samuel Budd, Ryan Reeder, all 19 years of age, with Daniel Jervis and Tobias Robinson being 21. age as of December. So they like to confuse us a little bit by putting their ages as of December. Is that December last year, December this year? I think it's December this year on those sheets. But we're looking forward to seeing how they're going on this. Samuel Budd of lane 6 is still keeping as close as he can to Dan Jervis. He's only 2.3 seconds behind him on that turn. And we're getting close towards the end. We've only got 100 meters to go. We'll start to hear that elusive bell very, very soon. Every long distance events past, well, an 800 past 400 will be, you'll get a bell to signal that you've got 100 meters left to go. And there's the bell starting to ring for Dan Jervis. He's turning in a 6:58.71. So he has just slipped off, going under a minute. He's now probably just about hitting the times now for 1 minute, but he's on his last 100, and I can visibly see, you can all visibly see that he is starting to reel this last 100 in.
I've got the right person sat next to me to dismiss this question. Daniel O'Shea says 800 metres, that's like 16 lengths of hell. Surely people don't actually enjoy this. Incorrect. The lady next to me thoroughly enjoys it. We can think of a million other people that thoroughly enjoy it. Maybe it's just your preference, Daniel, but yeah, it does seem a long way.
By any chance?
He probably is a sprinter, yeah. Let's leave it at that, shall we? Away they go then, and Dan Jervis through the final 25. And, you know, this is an invitational, but people cheering on from right about side of the pool and up in the stands as Jervis is coming in. Remember that 7:54.84 was the PB he did the other day. 7:44.32 is well gone. 7:54 is also gone, but he is going to come in here in 7:56.72, so another swim inside his old personal best from the European champs. Second, Samuel Budd, 8 minutes 89. And third then will be Tobias Robinson, 8:06.25.
We're looking at Samuel Budd's entry time from the city of Sheffield. They've had some really great performances this meet. His entry time was an 8:25, which, you know, he's just gone 8 minutes, so close to going under that 8 minute mark. He was 8 minutes and 89/100ths after that. So Samuel Budd having a great swim there. I would suggest that is a PB, so well done to Samuel on that one. And in third place, Tobias Robinson. And there are your results. Dan Jervis, Samuel Budd, Tobias Robinson. What a morning of heats we've had. It's been some good swims. Looking forward to watching the 200 medleys tonight.
We'll also hear from our National Performance Director, Chris Spice, a little bit later on. I think Marianne, you went off and did an interview a little bit earlier on, so we're looking forward to hearing from that. And again, you can join us on YouTube. You can join us on British Swimming. If you are on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe as well. And of course, don't forget, those of you that like to just get settled on their big settee and turn on their huge television, you can watch us on the BBC Red Button again tonight, I believe. So do get watching a little bit later on. And remember, don't buy Kerry-Ann any biscuits unless they're gluten-free. We're going to go and speak to John Mason in a couple of minutes. Thank you very much for watching and listening. We'll be back with you tonight. Here's John Mason.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the heats for day 5 over and done with. We're going to be back here live again tonight, though, from 6:20 p.m. All the action, all the finals, crowning those British champions. But it's not just that. We're also going to be hearing from Chris Spice, our National Performance Director. So he's got a lot to say about the performances we've seen out here this competition, and, of course, what we're looking forward to going ahead into the season. So stick around. Don't forget, if you like what we've done, give us a like on our YouTube page, and, of course, subscribe, and keep those tweets and Instagram posts coming in. We love to hear from you lot. I'm John Mason. I'll see you all tonight, 6:20 p.m. Enjoy your Saturday.